What's going on, everybody? This is Lauren back here with Marshall for episode 22 of the Free as Fuck podcast. We are currently broadcasting on the TMF channel because we got ourselves our first and only so far. We got a strike on the Podcast Planet channel for medical misinformation.
Wow.
As it pertains to the Delta COVID situation. So I thought that was funny, honestly, because we haven't said anything that isn't true. It's really just us talking about our opinion. Here we are. So,
and using facts and backing it up with facts and speculating on things that are actually coming true as we sit here. I'm watching it play out on traditional media every single day. Everything that I said. I told you a booster is coming. Boosters are already out there. They are saying that there's over 1 million people that have already had a booster. I've said that another variant is coming. I have now heard on Fox News another variant is expected to be more powerful than the Delta variant and is on the way. And I have said that the next variant is going to eliminate the vaccine as a barrier to getting the virus. And that's happening. So I don't know what we got dinged for, whatever it is. I know that there's people out there that hate to hear the truth, that don't want people to hear the truth. But whatever it is, we'll keep saying the truth. And we'll find a place where we can post it. Who knows? Who knows where we have to go to find a place where we can post and talk about the truth. But that's a fact. I wanted to start things off on a slightly lighter note.
Okay.
My favorite media star is in the news again.
Uh-oh.
Mike Lindell.
Mike Lindell, he was in there.
Mike Lindell.
He's back, baby.
Who cannot stay out of the news. He held I don't know if it's still going on. I wish it was. I wish it might. He is holding a 3-day cyber symposium where he was going to present all of his evidence to a live audience with many, many cyber experts, all claiming that Donald Trump had won the election and was about to be reinstated as president.
I mean, it's about time
and
for him to come up and say this. He's been talking about it. The buildup is immense.
And apparently, Fox News refused to run his promos for the event. He had created an advertising plan for the event, an ad that he wanted to run on Fox News. Fox denied him being able to run the ad on Fox News. He was able to run it on One American Network and the other one, Newsmax or whatever it is. But he's apparently the whole thing was a complete disaster.
Yeah, I already walked right off the stage.
He got up there, and then somebody told him after he's been ranting about it, he's pulled all his advertisement from Fox News. He will no longer, if you are watching Fox News, you will no longer, and he spent $50 million advertising his pillows on Fox News last year. $50 million. That motherfucker is selling a shit load of pillows.
Well, we knew that. We knew he was selling some.
I mean, if your advertising budget is $50 million, that's just a small percentage of what you're making. It's not like he's putting every nickel he's making in advertising. He's putting $50 million in. The guy's got to be making $200 million a year, probably just mostly for himself.
No, that's fair.
Right.
He's making a lot of money.
He's making a lot of money, but he's also losing a lot of business. And of course, he's turning himself into a buffoon, a buffoon, a national.
I mean, but some people don't feel that way. That's the crazy thing about it, right? Some people are like, dude, I'm going to go out and buy more fucking pillows. But I got 75 pillows. I got blankets. I got a mattress. I got a dog bed.
Right.
My dog has a My Pillow.
Right.
They're out there just supporting the shit out of it.
I guess, man. I guess he.
I just want to know how Mike Lindell became this dude. What was it that he was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take all my money and just go try to make Trump president again.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what his motivation is.
Does Trump have a MyPillow? At this point, if Trump
doesn't have if Trump doesn't sleep on a MyPillow every single fucking day.
If you're in a Trump hotel right now,
they should all
and you don't have a MyPillow,
they should all have a MyPillow. I mean, honestly, there should be no Trump property that doesn't have a MyPillow. And MyPillow sheets, and the MyPillow mattress pad, or what's he call it? It's a mattress topper.
A topper, yeah.
The topper. The mattress topper.
There you go, mattress topper.
You know, which I think is just a made-up term. I also don't understand why you would need a mattress. Is your mattress, I mean, just like is your pillow so bad that you need a MyPillow?
Yeah.
Is your mattress so bad that you need a MyPillow on top of your mattress? I mean, isn't your...
So here's the irony. And I just talked about this because Megan's parents have bought a new bed. And then they were going to get a bed fan. I have a bed fan. I don't have I have a Sleep Number bed. It's not like the fully automatic temperature. It's just a basic Sleep Number bed. And I have a little bed fan that I bought years ago that just kind of like goes up the bottom of the bed, and then it just blows air under your covers. So it cools off. Like if you have a comforter, it keeps it cool. And it's nice. I like it. I mean, it was like, $60 or something when I bought it. So she goes, yeah, my mom's going to get my dad this bed fan. And I was like, they just bought a $10,000 bed. Heating, cooling, like what? So yeah, but then you put the mattress topper on it, and then none of that works anymore.
So they got the topper? They got the MyPillow mattress?
I don't know if they had a MyPillow topper, but they had a mattress
I
topper.
feel like I've never even heard of a mattress topper.
Yeah. They're like, they sell them everywhere.
Oh, they do?
They're like it's like a little foam cover that goes on top of your mattress that gives it more cushion.
How can the mattress itself, how can a $10,000 mattress need a mattress topper?
It doesn't.
That makes no sense.
But they need to sell you one.
I guess
that makes the most sense.
Just like not making phones where the thing just don't crack.
Yeah.
I mean, they want to keep the.
I will say this though, they are more durable than they ever used to be. I crack my phone all the time.
I guess, but
you know what cracks my screen? I've done this now 3 times. Well, 2 times. One time, Pal stepped on it in the car and cracked it.
I can see that.
The other time, I usually have my keys in my pocket, my front pocket, and I put my phone in my pocket, and the key will be up against the screen, and the pressure of it being in my pocket has put pressure right in like a center point and cracked my screen.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's happened. I've
dropped this phone a lot. It's not cracked. I've got a Kevlar case. You could shoot this case with a gun. In fact, in the advertisement,
let's do it.
In the advertisement for this case, they showed it being shot with a gun, and it will not fucking hurt the phone.
Challenge accepted.
I'm just when I'm ready to get rid of it. I went to a place today. They can't transfer my stuff because they can't get my Apple ID.
Oh my God, dude. Transferring Apple is a nightmare. It's so crazy. So Megan had
I can't do it. The guy couldn't do it.
I don't have an iPhone.
He tried to do it.
She has an iPhone. She has like an old iMac. And then she has an iPad. And then she has her MacBook for work. And she like tried to transfer from one phone to the other. We're sending this message to your iMac. She's like, I don't even use the iMac. I haven't used it in 3 years. So now we got to fire that thing up to try to find this message that it sent to get a code that it didn't accept. Then it's going to send it to this thing. You're like, I don't even have that. It's never been turned on. I haven't turned on the iPad in 4 years.
Apparently my email does not match up with the email that the iPhone is going to send it to. So if and when this phone goes down, and it's an old phone apparently,
you are screwed.
According to phone aging, I always thought it was pretty new.
You got an iPhone 7, right?
It's a 7.
Yeah, it's old.
And people tell me that it's old. I guess the one that's available now is the 12.
Right.
That's what they were trying to sell me today, and I wouldn't mind getting it. It was only they were going to give me $300 for this, and it would have cost $500. And guy's like, it'll be $23 a month. I'm like, dude, no, it won't be for me. I'm paying cash. I have had a prepaid phone since I've had a phone. I've never had pay afterwards. It's less money. It's just as good of service. I just have to go in and pay it. That's the only thing. I have to go in and physically go into the place and pay it. But outside of that, I like it better having prepay.
Phone companies have done an interesting thing over the years, because used to be, and most people my age and up remember, but people younger than me probably don't. But you used to get a phone and you'd have 200 minutes and 50 text messages.
Right.
And then they would give you the phone. You could get any phone for free with a 2-year contract on that plan, any phone for free.
Well,
and then it was. They were like, hey, new phone, free.
Right. No, I get it.
Up. Now they're going, all right, well, there's no real contract, but you got to buy the phone. And you're like, well, I don't have $1,000.
Right.
They're like, cool. Do you have $30 a month?
Right.
For 2 years.
Right.
So they finance you the phone, because what they were doing is they were losing money on cell phones. That's what was happening. They were giving away phones that cost them more to.
Well, you can always factor the cost of the phone into the monthly bill,
yeah, but
whatever
it ended up
it is.
being, as technology got better, the phones got better, the cell phone companies it cost them money to give you the phones. They stopped giving away free phones. And then they made you buy them. They'll give you a discount maybe, but man,
I can remember my first one. I haven't had that many. I keep them for a long time. I keep a phone for a long time, way after everybody else has gotten another phone. My one before this was an iPhone 4, which I had for about, I would say, like three years. Before the iPhone 4, I had a flip phone that I had for about probably 8 years. And then I think before that was my first phone. I mean, I have not, and I've waited a long time to get one. Like, I didn't even want to get one. I didn't want to get one at all. I was like, what do I need a cell phone for? But then I got it, and I started using it all the time. I just called people just because I could. I'd be like, hey, I'm in the car. Can you fucking believe I'm calling you from my car? Right. Isn't this amazing? I'm in my car. And, I knew people when I was in high school that had, I don't even know if they called them cell phones. They just had a car phone.
They had a bag phone.
Yeah, whatever. And they could call, and the reception was horrible. You couldn't really understand what they were saying, but it was a sign of being very rich.
Oh yeah.
If you had a phone in your car at that point, you were a very rich person. So, I guess I pay $75 a month, prepaid, phone's paid off. It's working, but I'm worried that day is going to come when it won't.
Well, what Apple does, they just stop giving you the updates. Your phone will no longer get new iOS updates, and they will slowly make it obsolete.
I don't care.
That's what they do.
Well, I mean, all I do is message my son, use Facebook, read the news, and message you. That's about it. We don't even message on the phone. We're doing the Facebook thing,
right?
Which is, it's weird how you communicate with certain people.
Yeah, it is weird. I have some people that, for instance, Jacob, probably one of my best friends. I do not have his phone number at all. I message him on Instagram. I'll call him on Instagram. I'm like, dude, what do you do?
Right.
I do not have his phone number. It's so weird.
I mean, I might have your phone number, but I don't think I do. Probably. Maybe I do.
Do you need it? I mean, do we really need it? Just call him on everything.
You can get a hold of people.
Everything.
I'll just drive over here and be like, hey, man, what's up?
There.
So,
all right, so what are we going to talk about today?
All right, well, there's a lot of things.
You want to start with Omegle, or do you want to start with news?
Well, let's go with some news to start out. We can go to Omegle. Britney Spears' dad.
Hey.
Britney Spears' dad is stepping down.
Yeah, he is.
Stepping down. I don't know exactly if that means the conservatorship is going to be over. I don't think necessarily that it does mean that. But I know that he is no longer going to be in charge.
Right. Yeah, he does.
And he's been stealing fucking money from her for years. And they're going to find out. And he's going to fucking jail.
They're coming after that dude.
Yeah. He's in deep
Hardcore.
shit, and that's the only reason he's stepping down is because he knows he's in a lot of trouble, and he's hoping to make it. Otherwise, he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
She's got $60 million. And I would be willing to bet you that he's probably stolen $100 million from her. Would be my guess.
Well, he was getting paid $16,000 a month plus $2,000 in office supplies for 13 years. Plus, got a cut of all the shows that she did.
Right.
Anything that she did, he got some kind of percentage of. So it is an extreme amount of
It
money.
says he reaped millions of dollars
Oh, yeah.
from his daughter's estate.
I know just off of one of the tours, it was like $2.5 million that he netted off of that. All while saying that she's incompetent to be in control of any part of her life, but she's fully competent to be a puppet and go around and make hundreds of millions of dollars and do shows and interviews and entertain the world, but she's not competent to drive her own car or spend time with her boyfriend or go on vacation or live her own fucking life. Dude, could you imagine have that much control over a person? Nonetheless, your daughter of all people.
Well, I mean, I would hope, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about him. I've never heard him speak. I've seen pictures of him. I would hope that he would genuinely, at least at the very beginning, have been stepping in trying to help her. She was going through some shit. I mean, she went through some wild ass fucking times, and she was not surrounding herself with the best people in the world. And I would think that probably everybody who's been around her, and that's what's difficult about being her, has been around her simply to take advantage of the fact that she is who she is. She's been making money hand over fist since she was like 12. And she can step on a stage and entertain people probably better than, as well as any human being who's ever lived.
Yeah.
Between her ability to sing and dance and just, and I will say, watching her, I've seen a couple of her Instagram. She's whacked out of her.
She's not whacked out. She's fucking pissed.
Well,
she's mad. She doesn't know how to relay how fucking mad she is.
I guess. Obviously.
Imagine it. We can't.
I can't. But she. All right. She does some crazy shit. In those videos.
Have you been on the internet? That's mild at best.
Okay. Well, it seems pretty fucking bizarre to me.
It seems bizarre because she's Britney Spears. Bro, I saw a video of a meth head fighting a cop, getting tased.
Okay, well, that's obvious that person's going to be fucked up. I mean,
but that person does not have a conservatorship.
That person didn't have anything.
Doesn't matter.
They don't have anything to.
How do you know? First of all, how do you know?
I don't.
You don't
but
know
I just
shit about that person.
I look at her and I do think that her behavior is at times bizarre, and I'm rooting for her. I'm a fan. I've always been a fan. I think her music's great. I love her songs. I love how she burns people. I love how how she defends herself. I love everything about her. I just think that she does have, based on probably some extremely, it's got to be difficult to be that talented and have that many people around you who are all a bunch of leeches and vampires who are just sucking you dry all the time. And I'm sure that's been tough. There's no doubt.
You think that she's posted crazy shit? I was listening today, just because I was lazy, didn't change my channel on my YouTube. I was listening to Rogan interview Steve-O from like a couple years ago.
No, that guy's...
But he's got a lot of money, and he did a lot of crazy shit, and no one was like, he needs a conservator.
Well, I mean, I don't know that he's got Britney Spears money. I don't know.
He had a lot. And at the time he was doing that, he had a lot of money. It may not be Britney Spears level money, but definitely millions and millions of dollars. For sure.
I mean, I don't know what they say her estimated worth right now is 60 million. To me, that seems very low.
60?
That's what it says in this article today about her.
No way.
About her father dropping out of being the conservator, that her current estimated worth is 60 million. To me, that seems very, very low.
Yeah, it does.
I as I read that, I'm like, where the fuck did her money go? Because I mean, if she was in Vegas for years,
I think like 2 or 3 years now.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like it was longer than that. I feel like it was like 8 years.
No, not this current tour.
Well, but she's been there a lot.
She's been there before, but this is her first residency in Vegas.
In any event, she's toured, she's sold albums, she's made money for a long time. I feel like she should be worth more than 60 million. And I know 60 million is a lot. Certainly there's people out there that would, but I feel like for her, it sounds low. And I hope she gets control back. I really do. Even if she is crazy, who gives a shit? What's
the worst you can do with $60 million?
Blow it.
Exactly. You can stimulate the economy.
Can blow it. I mean, you know.
If one thing she's going to do is create some jobs.
I guess. I mean, she's had, since she was a kid, she's been responsible for the incomes of hundreds of people at a time. I mean, they're all making money off of her.
Right.
None of them would have a job. None of those dancers, none of those people that make music, none of those promoters, none of those managers, none of those people would have a job if it wasn't for her. She is the whole company. And, you know, I'm sure that's a ridiculous amount of pressure on one person. So however she acts, however she behaves, if she wants to blow $60 million, she can blow $60 million. It's been done. There are people that have blown more.
Yeah.
There are professional athletes that have blown more. I know Mike Tyson has blown more.
Yep.
Mike Tyson went through over $300 million.
Yeah. I mean, Britney Spears had 0 tigers.
There you go. She can.
She can.
And she might buy one.
She might get some tigers.
You never know. She used to wrap herself up in snakes. Maybe those are hers. Maybe she likes snakes. I don't know.
Who knows, man?
You can do whatever the fuck she wants. I wish her the best. I do. I hope it all works out.
I was happy to see that, and I actually sold a free Britney T-shirt today, so that made me even more
you know,
happy.
hey man,
I was like, look at them go. Someone got one out in California. So
I say, you know, I am all in on her having her life go well. Another lighthearted thing before we start getting into some of this serious shit. There is a new trend that women are going all over America, all over the world, to get a Brazilian butt lift. Have you heard at all about the Brazilian butt lift? They will take. This is what women are doing. They are getting fat on purpose, and then they take the fat from your stomach and they put it in your butt, and it costs between $3,000 and $5,000, and you apparently can die.
Oh yeah, you can die from it.
You can die because your butt has very huge veins running through it, and if the doctor doesn't know what he's doing, and he accidentally injects the fat into your butt veins, you can die right there on the thing, and it happens at a much higher rate than any other form of surgery. My whole thing is, I don't understand what woman in their right mind would feel the necessity, and apparently it's not just, they're all getting it. They're all getting it. Apparently, I didn't know that so many fake butts existed.
They're everywhere. There's one there's a dancer at Oasis that has one. It has a fake ass. And let me tell you, there is nothing attractive about what she's walking around with. And you know it's her. You know it's not even remotely appealing.
I've seen what appear to me to be abnormally large asses on women where I'm just like, what the fuck? And somebody's like, well, that's a fake ass. And it doesn't compute to me. I don't understand what benefit you would think there is to having a distortedly large ass. And
it's just the look. It's just people's perception.
It's obvious. It's very painful. It's very risky. People are flying to like Thailand.
Man, they'll do that shit here. They'll do it in Atlanta.
they'll do it in Miami. Apparently, they all go down to Miami, and that's where they get it done. And there's guys who they say that there's guys who could do anywhere from 8 to 12 butt lift surgeries a day. I like a natural butt. I mean,
I dated a woman. She had breast implants at one point in her life, and she had one break in a car accident. Seatbelt ruptured it, so she had them removed, and she was going to have fat pulled out of her body and put into her breasts to replace the fake ones. And she was tiny. She was like 110 pounds. So they told her she had to gain like 25 pounds. And she gained a little weight, and then she was like, "This is not worth it." So,
I mean, I just feel like real. In my experience, I've met one woman that had fake breast implants that I was able to experience, and I will say it was awful. they felt awful. There was nothing real about them.
Enough of them. They're all right.
They were well. I don't know what she did. They felt like they had like a hard side to them.
Yeah, I've never felt one that felt like hard. I mean, when they're first put in, they are.
And I was like, man, this is weird. It's not enjoyable. They looked good. It looked nice, but I didn't like it. And that was my one and only experience. And then I had another guy once at work who warned me that a girl who I liked had a fake butt. And he was like, "Hey man, I just want you to know that's a fake butt." And I was like, really? I don't know. First of all, it makes no sense to me that any woman would want it. I don't understand wanting it.
Because they work out and it doesn't grow. Megan works out all the time. She wants a bigger ass. Doesn't grow.
Then that's the ass you're supposed to have.
2021, man, load it up.
No,
load it up.
No, I mean, because I'm not thrilled with my body. I'm not gonna
load it up.
Any kind of surgery for it. I work out hard.
You want some calves? They'll put some calves in there. They need some pecs.
I know. I've heard. I don't get it. I don't understand.
I don't understand where the guys on social media that have like tremendous amounts of plastic surgery, how do they afford that? Where did they get that kind of money? They'll be like 24 years old and have had like 100 plastic surgeries. And you're like, where did you get $1 million fucking dollars?
I mean, there's ways to make money. If money is your only goal, in my life, money has never been my goal at all. I remember when I graduated college, I was riding in a car with my best friend's father. And he was an insurance agent. He's like, "Well, what are you going to do with your life now?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. Whatever it is, I'm not motivated by money."
There you go, this dude.
And he was so disappointed.
Look at this dude. He wants to look like a Ken doll.
That's insane.
Right? Look at that face. What's up with that face?
That's insane.
Isn't this crazy? He's trying to look like a doll. Look at that. I don't know what happened there. That's after 50 plastic surgeries.
I mean, it's horrifying.
But this dude is not old. Oh, oof. He's not old.
It's horrifying.
Oh, my God.
I feel bad for him.
Yeah, it's so crazy, right?
That's where he is now? That's what he looks like now right there?
I mean, I would assume he looks more like a Ken doll that's been under the bed for a while, if I just at this point.
I mean,
but where'd you get the money for all that?
That's just I feel really, really sad for that person.
Man, it's so crazy, man.
I do. I'm like, man, what could have happened in your life?
I'm going to guess that it's peer pressure and it is just being unhappy with yourself.
Yeah, obviously he's extremely unhappy with himself.
I'm not
thrilled.
Money.
I'm not thrilled. You can get money.
Bro.
Yeah, you can.
Bro.
There's ways to get money. Money is, money is not hard to get. If you make money your only goal, you can get money. Anybody can get money. whenever I hear people say, look, you can fucking steal money. If you really want to fucking get money, steal money. I mean, money, if money is your motivation, we've talked about this. There are people that rob banks. There are people that come up with all kinds of schemes and scams and plans. I mean, look at your boy.
It was in our
Your
news.
boy's a billionaire. He's not a fucking smart guy.
In the news locally, sold. He just pled guilty to wire fraud. Sold over $7 million worth of N95s that he didn't have to different places, and he arrested him.
The government's giving it out. You can tell them right now your business is going down the drain. They'll just send you a check for a couple $1 million.
Not that easy.
I mean, people have done it, and then what's wrong is they're so stupid. They take the money and they could buy a $500,000 sports car.
That is insane.
And then the government's like, we didn't give you that money. You know, you could potentially right now, if you really wanted to, because there are people that have done it, and they were giving those checks out with no check of anything. They were just, whoosh, here, your business is in trouble. People were just making up a fake business. This is my business. This is how much we used to make. This is how much we need to make. These are my bills. Writing it all on basically a sheet of paper, taking it to a bank, and the bank was like, all right, here's a check, $2 million. You could at least then take the $2 million and get the business going.
Right.
You know, instead of going out and buying a fucking boat and a car, and what are you going to do when they come to you and they're like, hey, we gave you this $2 million. How's your business doing? Well, the business isn't doing all that great, but I got this fine ass sports car I'm driving around in. I mean, you should. I guess that's the thing. Is
definitely made the news pretty quick. You're like, why would you do that? Like, what'd you just spend like $500,000 on? Like, you thought that was a good idea?
Well, I mean, and there's all kinds of like scam type things in the world. There was those people that made up that fake story with the homeless guy on GoFundMe. They made up a fake story. Supposedly the woman had run out of gas under a bridge in Philly, and this homeless guy saw that she'd run out of gas. He took his last $20 that he had. He walked to the gas station, bought her a gas can, bought her gas, came back with the gas can, came back with the gas, filled up her tank, and let her go on her way. And so as a thank you, the couple wanted to help this guy out. So they put the story on GoFundMe, and they were asked, because he's a veteran, and they wanted this homeless veteran to get some money. And the whole thing was a fucking lie. They had cooked up the scheme with the guy.
I remember
they
that.
got, I think they got like $500,000. And so they bought him like a trailer that he could live in front of their house on their property. They bought him a trailer, and then they just went on vacation.
I remember that. Yeah.
And the guy was like, hey, man, I'm an equal partner in this scam. I want as much money as y'all are getting. And they were like, no.
There was just
and so he just turned them in.
I saw it maybe 2 days ago. A woman, people raised money for her, saying that she was like a single mom with 3 kids and something like $240,000. It wasn't her kids.
Fake picture. It wasn't her kids.
Yeah, it wasn't her, but they raised almost
She was the babysitter. She took a picture of herself. Right. I mean, you
know what? That should be completely fine. It's not her fault. Whatever. If people wanted to give her money, let them give her money.
Well, it's if they want to give her money without the fake story. You know, people will, you can go on there and people will give you money. I mean, I remember a story about a guy who wanted to make a potato salad, and he put his ad on GoFundMe. I need the funds to make a potato salad, and he ended up getting $50,000.
Oh, damn.
Worth of people contributing to him and getting the ingredients to make a potato salad. I posted a GoFundMe, not me personally, but a company that I ran, where we tried to get financial investors for we had a no pads tackle football league. And I think I had like 6 teams at the peak of it. And these guys were playing 7-on-7, extremely violent tackle football. And we wanted to pump up the league. And we were posting the videos online. I had a guy like you who was smart like you, who knew how to. I bought him all his camera equipment. I spent $2,000 I bought him everything camera-wise he needed. And he made highlights of all these games that these guys played. And these were like college athlete level football players. They were very good. Some of the guys were known. were just below NFL type players. They were playing tackle football with no pads, and they were knocking the living shit out of each other. And I was stunned. We got nothing. We got nothing. We went on GoFundMe and we made a big presentation. We're like, hey, we're starting this league. We had done our first season. I had supported the whole thing as a waiter. So every week as I waited tables, I would take all my money. I would have to go rent the field. And then we would have these teams play each other. And they were knocking the shit out of each other. And we had our own set of rules. We had a referee. We had
helmets?
No.
Damn.
No, they didn't. Well, I'll even say there's another league like that now. I don't know if they got the idea from me or if they were in it already had been started out, but I get an ad every once in a while on Facebook. They're asking for money for, to invest in their league. But we made a big presentation. We put it on GoFundMe and we never got anything. Nobody ever, and but the videos are still online. I mean, you can still look it up. Oh yeah.
What's it called?
Black and Blue Football League.
Black and Blue Football
League. You can look it up. I don't have the rights to it. I know that the videos the views are now in the hundreds of thousands.
Let's see if I can find it.
BBFL. Black and Blue Football League. Yeah, the dude is probably still making money off the videos, I would imagine. And I don't care. I mean, I
don't really have that many views on there.
It
has 1,800 subscribers, and the most views, you've got one that's at 29,000 views.
Oh no, there's more on there. There was ones that were in the hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, that one just says Black and Blue Football League, BBFL.
There. We had.
That's your logo right there.
Yeah, that was the logo. That's the league.
7 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Look at that shit.
Yeah, that was my league. Those were my guys.
Craziness.
They were knocking the crap out of each other.
It looks like mostly just like practice football, but with instant death.
I mean,
instant death.
I mean, they were really good athletes, and they were really good at playing football. And we believed that it would be enjoyable to watch these guys hit each other, and it was. I mean, they were.
Y'all need some uniforms, man.
Well, I mean, it was. We were. That's why we put these videos up, and we were like, hey, we need money. It was a ragtag league, and they were, but they were good. I mean, don't kid yourselves. These guys were really. You can't even really tell how good they were by watching the videos, but they were good. And we had 6 teams. And that's what we did. And I figured the guy is still making money off of the videos.
I don't really look like it.
I don't know.
Like I said, these are all the videos that are posted. There's only 7.
Yeah. Well, we used to sit there and edit them and edit them and edit them. Try to put the best highlights up.
Crazy, man. Crazy times.
So, anyway, we had that on GoFundMe. I've been tried. I don't do it anymore, but I used to have a new thing that I was working on all the time. I had I'll go through. I had a puppet theater. I used to have this bus. Actually, I had 2 of them, 2 buses. They were hollowed out. We took all the seats out of the buses. It was called Magic Puppet Theater. I had the puppet guy who made puppets for Jim Henson. If you know who he is, he's the Muppet guy.
Yeah.
I had one of the guys who made puppets for him. He made all my puppets. And we would drive around to daycare centers and we would do puppet shows for the kids at the daycare centers. And they would come on the bus and there was a stage on the back of the bus and they would have these shows. And the puppet shows were about things like calling 911 in an emergency or having good manners or, just things that preschool kids need to learn about.
Right.
And unfortunately for me, in that circumstance, the buses kept breaking down. They were old as shit. And every time I turned around, the fucking guy would call me up and he'd be like, hey, man, the bus is broke down. It's on the side of the road. I'd be like, fuck. Because it's not easy. If you think it's not fun to get your car towed, imagine having to get your bus towed. You can't just, the regular tow truck can't do it.
That's true. You gotta
So
get the
you know, and everything I've ever done was operating on a shoestring budget. It was just some crazy wild idea I'd have in my head that could somehow be successful, just like that football league. I mean, I've done that kind of shit my whole life. I stopped. That was my last endeavor, though.
Okay.
That was the I was like, I'm done. I'm not.
That was the XFL of Marshall Holmes.
That was it. We had two seasons.
Hang on, man. The Rock could have bought that shit.
We had 2 seasons.
Are you
at the end
excited to see that the XFL come back?
Absolutely.
I remember when the XFL came out 2001, and I was like, this is the shit.
Oh yeah, I loved it.
And I didn't even really watch football, but I liked everything that they were doing.
I loved it. I thought it was amazing.
Like, man, after one season, it was gone. You're
Yeah.
like, fuck.
And what sucked is they had a team in Orlando. I was living in Tampa at the time. They had a team in Orlando called the Orlando Rage.
Yep.
And me and one of my fraternity brothers and my wife at the time went to one of the games. And we were getting ready to buy season tickets for the next year. And we were like, there's rumors that there's not going to be a season next year. Right. And the guy was like, oh no, man. He just did such a bad job of convincing us that there actually was going to be a season. By the time he got done talking, we were like, there's not going to be a season.
It's crazy how much money Vince McMahon spent on that.
I'm sure a lot.
It was $100 million.
Well, yeah.
I know. He sold equity in WWE and put it all into that shit.
Yeah, and it was awesome.
It was awesome.
It was awesome to watch.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable. They had these crazy rules that made it entertaining, and the way they interviewed the guys during the game, they made it like wrestling and football combined.
It was amazing.
They could put whatever name they wanted on the back of their jersey, and it was just so anti-NFL. It was so rebellious. It was just, and you just had these, fucking ragtag guys out there that were just like, man, give me a chance to play football. Just give me a chance.
I think when it comes back, we're going to see a lot more of that. I think we're going to, from what my understanding is that Dwayne Johnson wants to have fans get to see more and interact more with the players of the game.
I hope so.
They want to see them interview. They want to see them talk. They want to see more behind
the
scenes.
What I think will not be success, and I'm not, man, trust me, I've had one failed business after another. I literally have a string of these crazy, the puppet theater, the football thing. I had a modeling agency for 5 years. I ran that. I just had, just so many different things that I attempted over my life. I had a landscaping company, I had a janitorial service. That's the only one that was ever completely successful. But I had turned myself into a janitor, basically. And so I didn't want to, me and my partner, we were making money and we were doing well, but we were cleaning toilets all night long. We were like, man, this is not what we want to do. So I sold that one. Everything else I've ever had failed. I had a car wash. I've had a couple car washes, actually. But what will make it be successful, in my opinion, is instead of trying to make it like a minor league NFL, they make it stand out on its own, where the way that they present it is so completely different from, man, because in the NFL, they can't do anything fun.
Right.
They can't do any. They're limited in the way they can celebrate. They're limited in the way that they can customize their uniform. I mean, I don't know. I think you didn't play sports.
Yeah. I mean, look, we need a trampoline in the end zone for starters.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, one of the coolest things about being on a football team was somewhat being able to customize your uniform to a certain extent. There were things that you could add to it and wear, and ways that you could cut it up. Like you could now they're all exactly the same. Like everybody on the field is exactly the same. But when I played in high school, I played in college, I played 4 years of semi-pro football. And if you think that the XFL was fucking crazy, go watch a semi-pro football game. Those guys are getting paid either nothing or very, very little. And they're going out there. Usually they have full-time jobs. They practice at 2 or 3 times a week at night. And then they go out on a Friday night or a Saturday night and just knock the living shit out of each other. And it's it's borderline criminal behavior, which is where I got the idea for the league that I formed. I was like, you know what? I can't afford to put these guys in helmets and jerseys and all that stuff. I'm just going to put them in shorts and T-shirts and let them go out there and knock the shit out of each other. And they did. And I thought they loved playing it. But first of all, those guys were amazing. I used to talk, I hung out with them all the time. I was usually down on the field. I played in a few of the games because we would be short a player. You know, some guys would play for like 2 or 3 teams. Because we'd have 3 games every weekend, and some guys would just stay and play in all 3 games. They changed put on a different jersey, and they'd just be like, oh, now I'm on the Bulls. Oh, now I'm on, and the names of the teams were like. We had the Psycho Killers, the Bulls, God Body. What the fuck? I can't remember all those names, but they were just and they were awesome, and they were really good athletes. I mean, and they were intense about it and played really well. I mean, football's fun. I just don't want them to make it a minor league, an NFL minor league. That'll be boring. But if they make it where they center it around these, and they give these guys the chance to be interviewed on the sidelines and just tell them, hey, man, there's no restrictions. You're free as fuck. Go up there, say whatever you want, talk shit, talk trash about the other team. It'll be fun.
I think that I think the production value that Dwayne Johnson and his partners are going to bring is going to blow the NFL away.
I think so. And people are ready for that. They're sick of the NFL.
They do, man.
It really is.
I want Mutant League Football. Remember that video game? You ever play that shit? No. When I was a kid, Mutant League Football, man, you'd have like your crazy teams and they go out there and you could just tackling them and just rip them. I mean,
I'm just saying, there's a lot of very skilled athletes out there that they can't conform to the way the NFL wants them to behave.
And I think part of what they want to bring to it is that each player can have their own personality that you attach to. People like Tom Brady. People like any other football guy I don't know. They like these people, but they do not know them outside of their corporate football persona. And I think
even when they're interviewed, they're not allowed to
talk. I think what the XFL is going to bring that personal connection and give those guys a chance to be their own character on the field, which is what we want.
Yeah, sure. That'll be exciting. It'll be fun to watch. I root for them. I mean, my aspiration at one point in my life, although I never had even the remotest possibility of it happening, was to play in the NFL. I wanted to play in the NFL. I played in college. I played at the semi-pro team I played on. I always felt like if I could just get a chance somewhere, I could. But I didn't have that skill level. But the USFL, when that came out when I was in high school. I was praying that would stick around. That would have been something. I wanted to see the XFL came along after I was pretty much done, and then I tried. They had arena football for a while, the Arena Football League, and I was trying to prepare myself to go to the audition for the tryout for the team that was in Tampa. I lived in Tampa at the time, and they had I can't remember the name of the team, but I wanted to try to play for them, and then of course that folded too, and it's expensive. I mean, just when I played semi-pro, we didn't get paid. We had to provide our own equipment. You had to buy helmets, you had to buy shoulder pads, you had to buy all that stuff, and then we had to pay for our travel, which every time we took a bus somewhere, we would have to pay $50 or whatever. And it was great. I loved being on the field with those guys. I love being on the team with those guys. It just, for me personally, I played till I was 28 and I was just beat to shit. I mean, I was way undersized. I was playing against a couple levels below professional. I would say that the semi-pro team I was on, although we had better athletes, we didn't have the level of discipline that the college team I was on played with. I think the college team and I played Division III college football, which is no scholarships. You just come out, you're on the team. And I would say they were about the semi-pro team and they had really, really good athletes, but we just weren't very disciplined. It was just, we had one coach, and his approach really was, I didn't really, we just called the plays in the huddle. There was no discipline to it, and we weren't, we trained, we worked out or practiced twice a week, but it was fun. I loved it. I did it 4 years. I loved the BBFL. I did that for, we had 2 full seasons. I liked every bit about it. I wished it would have turned into something. I hope the XFL does well. I'm certainly rooting for it. Any of those guys, man, they're out there, I don't know what they're going to pay them. But owning and running a football team is expensive.
Oh yeah.
And, you've got to get a stadium so that they can play in a stadium and you have an opportunity to sell tickets. You've got to have a TV contract. We'll definitely talk about it here. I mean, once they start, I don't know when.
It's 2023.
Oh, wow. It's still a ways away.
It's a year away. Really, a year and 3 months. Not that far. Almost 2022, dude. we are 3 months away from 2022.
4 months.
4 months, 3.5. What's the difference? How about this? I'm gonna bring up this story, and I'm gonna bring it up because it actually is something that happened today in my son's school. But this is a news article also that pops up here. And the article is Newburgh School Board votes to ban pride, BLM flags, and symbols from district buildings. Now, how this affects kind of what happened today is I pick up Skyler from school and I ask him about his day, and he said it was bad, actually really bad. And I was like, what happened? He said his favorite teacher, a English teacher, was fired today. Gone. Poof. And I said, well, what happened? He said, well, he had a post on his Instagram that was about gay pride, and he had a pride flag in the classroom, a small one, and parents complained about the flag and even pulled students from his class because the flag was in his class. And because of whatever he posted on Instagram, he was terminated, fired, gone. They come in, holy teacher's gone, shit. Books are gone, class over, gone. That just happened today. And then I see this article pop up where Newburgh School votes to ban pride, BLM flags, and symbols. So in a world where everyone is so woke about transgender, lesbian, gay, pride, everything, the whole thing, how do they get away with that? Because that right there, if you were to ban somebody who is part of the group from anything, it'd be damn near a hate crime. But they can ban this. They can ban.
Well, I don't know
in a row.
I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I don't know the full extent of what the law is that they've implemented. I don't know how the ban came about. I don't know what their, who implemented this. Whether it was a single individual or it says the school board, I guess, to remove all those things.
Public school board voted to do that. I wonder what the legality of it is. I mean, it's government property. It's a government building. School is. It says prohibiting the display of political signs, flags, apparel, buttons, and place cards, and all other modes of display from district facilities with the sole exception of the American flag and Oregon state flag.
Let me just say, first of all, that's a surprise that would happen in Oregon of all places. Oregon is well known as a fairly liberal place where I would think things like that would be welcomed. But I don't know. I've never been there. I find that very upsetting. I don't know why that is.
No pride flags at military bases. That's this year, June. They banned them on military bases. So, what's
here's what I think might be behind it, and I don't know. But whenever I see something like this, I always try to think, all right, what is the motivation behind this?
Yeah, what is it?
And this is what I think. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I can only give my opinion, and hopefully, it won't get us dinged on the on the.
Look at this creative. They were not allowed to fly their flag. Oops, sorry about that. Flag
so they lit up their house.
So they put lights across their home in the same colors as the flag.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Well, here's what I think is they wanted to ban Nazi symbols. They wanted to ban Confederate flags. They wanted to ban hate symbols. And it's hypocritical to ban one side of the argument and not the other. Now, I'm only speculating. My knowledge of this is limited to the last 3 minutes. I've not been exposed to any of this information. I'm stunned that a teacher could be fired for that. It seems like something you could easily have a conversation with him about it first. Maybe that did happen. Maybe it didn't. Maybe the way he reacted to having a conversation about it, I don't know. I just know that there's more to a story than them just banning those particular items.
Right.
They want to, because it doesn't say they're banning, it says they're banning political. Go back to what the actual ban is, because it sounds like they're banning all forms of political expression.
Well, here, the board later will decide if it counts as political, but pride flags and BLM messages were repeatedly referenced during the meeting. Won't be able to enforce it until we've gone through a bunch of legal review. Let's see.
There was an article that showed exactly how the ban was stated. I'd be interested to see how the ban was stated.
Let's have a see here if we can find that exact reference. Look at that. The BLM and LGBTQ whatever ideology and curriculum are shattering the innocence of children, promoting racial divide and negativity, impacting lives of our children forever. That's one woman said. Holy cow.
Well,
I do have that reminds me of a topic though that we should probably talk about.
Sure.
Weird. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of articles here, but I'm sure it's going to make a little bit more mainstream something pop up.
Well,
I do have something.
I'm hearing about it now for the first time. I feel like anytime I see something like that, and they've targeted, they're trying to make an overall ban against completely against any form of political expression. They don't want you to speak your mind. And that's the thing is, don't tell me in America that we have freedom. Don't tell me that because we don't. There's multiple examples in our history of people suppressing free speech. And we determine on a regular basis what types of things are allowed to be said and what types of things aren't. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's other people's perception, whether it's racially charged speech, whether it's, I would say, whether it's inciting violence, whether it's creating division of some kind, somebody else is making the decision whether you can or cannot express yourself the way that you want to be able to express yourself. And I've seen it. I've experienced it. There are T-shirts that you're told are inappropriate. I know many times when I was in school and I was growing up, there were people that were not allowed to wear certain T-shirts to school because they have what they said on them, what things they supported. And then people would always be like, well, if I can't wear this, how come I can't wear this and he can wear that? And so then they just eliminated it for everybody. But it's kind of like being able to swear on TV. We're supposedly free. We can say whatever we want, but there are words you are not allowed to say on television. Why? It doesn't make any sense.
Can't show nipples. No
It
nipples,
can't
no
show
words.
nipples.
No
Can't
bad
show.
words.
We can't show any. I mean, we have to pretend the world that we display on television in the shows is not the real world. It's not the way people talk. It's not the way people behave. It's not the way people treat each other. When I was a kid on the Dick Van Dyke Show, they slept in separate beds. They had a fucking bedroom, and they were a married couple, and they had 2 single beds in their bedroom. So when they went to bed every night, I'd always be like, what the fuck kind of, I was a little kid. I'd be like, what kind of married couple? And I wasn't watching the live when it came out, but the reruns played every afternoon. We'd come home and watch them. I'd see the Dick Van Dyke Show, and I'd always be like, what the, and you know, kids don't need to be lied to. One of the reasons that we start lying to kids early on. There's nothing more truthful that you're ever going to hear in the world than a kid. We tell kids, it's got to be confusing as shit to be a kid and be raised in our society. Because we tell kids all the time we want them to tell the truth. We tell them that we're free. We have freedom in America. Kids go around telling the truth. And then we tell them not to say certain things. Well, you know, so-and-so has a big nose. Okay, well, we know that he has a big nose, but you can't say that. Oh, I thought we were supposed to always tell the truth. Well, you're supposed to always tell the truth unless it offends somebody.
Right.
Okay, well, as you get older, you learn more and more things offend people. You can't point out the differences between people. You know, you can't support the people that you want to support. I don't think that anybody, you know, we were talking about this at work. Somebody asked me the other day how I feel, whether I think that gay people are putting out their expressions about their sexuality in my face. That's the conversation that people at my job were having. They were like, do you feel like, and they asked me, I'm just sitting there. I'm not Marshall the podcaster at work. I don't even think they know whether, I don't think anybody I work with has ever watched the podcast at all, but they wanted my opinion. And here's how I felt about it. If I was gay, I would be in your face about it. I would not like people to make me feel like I couldn't express how I wanted to express myself. I've not been oppressed in my life. I'm a straight, white male. And I don't have anybody who's tried to hold me back based on my race, based on my religion, based on my gender, based on my sexuality. None of those things have been barriers to me in life. So I cannot relate to those other, if anything, the only there's just no instance in my life where those things, but if they had been, and I've been around people, well, there you go.
There you go. This is what I wanted to bring up right here, because this is on the front page of the New York Post right here. And it is, I didn't read it, but I read the article, the headline, and I was like, huh. And then I just scrolled through some of it, and it, for those of you not are listening in here, Biden's infrastructure bill is chock full of anti-white racism. That is the headline in the New York Post. And keep in mind, this is Betsy McCauley's opinionated article. And she's stating here that all of the Americans are enthusiastic about spending money on physical infrastructure, bridges, roads, broadband. But this racist bill hands out jobs and contracts and locates projects based on race, not merit. Minority-based businesses, neighborhoods hold the inside track. If you're white, you're low priority. That is what she's saying. And it's not entirely false. It is saying that they are going to pump money into minorities and minority-owned businesses because the feeling is that they have been denied so much. And I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't think there's any question that it's true.
Well, I don't know if it's inherently, I don't know what level we're talking about here. Let's put it that way. Are we talking about corporate level? Are we talking about mom and pop businesses? But it's not okay to obviously deny someone because of their race, but is it okay to deny one particular race point blank because potentially they have gotten whatever the contracts or the loans or whatever it is they're looking for in the past, and they go, okay, well, we're not going to give it to you because you're white. So that is inherent. I feel like that their answer to racism is racism the other direction. Instead of going, all right, look, we're just going to look across the board, and we're gonna, why don't you just take race off the application completely? Not even important. But there was another story maybe 4 or 5 days ago where a woman was ousted on a hiring act. She needed to hire someone for a PR company or some shit, and she had an internal memo to another employee when a black applicant came across her desk, and she said specifically no blacks on her memo. I'm not going to hide this. It's a waste of my time. I said specifically no blacks. And her justification to this statement, which she at first said wasn't true, but there's an email, so it's definitely true. And her justification was that 90% of her clients were white, and that she wanted somebody that they could, what's the word I'm looking for? Identify with, I guess. She didn't want a black candidate for the job because they wouldn't identify with 90% of her people, which is also racist. But to put something even like that, I mean, look, there's plenty of poor white people out there. There's plenty of poor black people out there. There's plenty of rich white people, plenty of rich black people. You know, Kevin Johns on Shark Tank is not hurting for cash and has no problem doing anything. Maybe he did at one point, but he made it. I don't know.
Well, I will say that as I look at the entire issue of race, there are people that benefit financially tremendously from there being a constant battle between the races. They want the races to hate each other. They need the races to hate each other. They want people to hate each other. They want all division that they can create, they will create. And the reason is because there are people out there that are fucking all of us every single day as hard as humanly possible. There is not a single human being that is treated with the level of respect that they should be treated with, except for the very, very, very top of our society. I don't have any fucking insurance. I am a U.S. fucking military veteran. I served this country. I carried live rounds into a combat situation, and I do not have any insurance. I have no dental insurance. I haven't been to a dentist in 15 fucking years. I have 3 teeth in my mouth that have rotted away, where the root of the teeth are still in my mouth and the tooth is gone. 3 of them in my mouth. It's been that way for 5 years. We are all the essential workers that were such a big deal to this country. The lowest paid people who all had to work through the pandemic are the ones who are not getting vaccinated right now because they can't even afford to take the time off to go, and they can't afford to take the time off to get the vaccine, so that if they got sick from the vaccine, they would miss work. They can't afford it. We do nothing for them. The people on the bottom of the spectrum in this country are fucked all day, every day by the people who are on top. And in order for them to distract us from the things that would bring people together and allow us to focus on that one issue, which is really the biggest issue we are all facing, is they create these divisions on purpose. They want you to hate gay people. They want you to hate black people. They want black people to hate white people. They want to create these divisions so that we focus on these things that do not fucking matter. So that we will not pay attention to the fact that they are fucking us as hard as humanly possible. Why is there people who are on quarantine who had freezers full of ice cream that they could fucking go into anytime they wanted to, and other people had nothing? I'd love to know how many people during quarantine starved to death in America. You saw the food lines. Those weren't food lines happening in a socialist country. Those are food lines happening in America. You passed this infrastructure bill. How much of that money is going to go to the people who run those companies and will never see the light of day? We're not going to. You think all that money is going to end up being put into fixing roads and bridges? Are you out of your fucking mind? It's not. That's not the way our country works. But these people want us to hate each other. All of them. Every one of these rich ass fucking people. And then they try to pretend like they're part of the working class. I love listening to these motherfuckers like Hannity and Tucker and fucking all these fucking journalists. All of them so full of shit. As they sit there every day going, oh, they're fucking us. You are part of that. You are in charge. You are making, what does Hannity makes $36 million a year? Get the fuck out of here if you can think you can relate to my fucking problems. And I'm not in the worst situation in the world. There are people way worse off than I am. I don't know how you would break down the homeless people in America by race.
I don't either.
But there's plenty of people that are white and black that are homeless. And I know there's a shitload of people that work full-time jobs that have no fucking health care. None. Zero. And nobody gives a shit. That didn't change. The word essential worker disappeared. Completely fucking disappeared once they started lifting all the lockdowns. Thank you very much for continuing to work and put your life in jeopardy to keep the rest of us being able to come get gas and being able to buy groceries. Thank you very much. Now fucking go back to doing your shitty ass job and making no money. There's a guy running for fucking governor right now in California that wants the minimum wage to be zero.
What's his name?
Larry Elder.
Oh, Larry Elder wants zero?
He wants the minimum wage to be zero. Are you out of your fucking mind? We shouldn't need to have a minimum wage. I agree with that. The reason we have to have one is because our enemy is greed. It's not being black. It's not being gay. It's greed. It's not worshiping a different God than everybody else. You can worship whoever you want. But they want to create these battles between us and keep us divided. And that's why I'm going to try to do everything I can to change the way this country thinks. Everything I can do to disrupt what these motherfuckers have done. They're so addicted to money. They're so addicted to power. And they're taking away all of our freedoms. Everything they could possibly do to control your life, they will do. They want to control. You can't put a fucking flag on your desk?
Nope. No flags on your desk. Now, you can put a flag on your desk. You just can't have those colors in that order on it.
Right.
Yeah. Like, what are we doing?
What are we doing? What is this turning into? That's insane.
It's pretty crazy.
We are supposed to have freedom of speech. As far as I know, we are supposed to have freedom of speech. We got in trouble for telling the truth about the virus.
It's true.
We got in trouble for... I can go back through everything I've fucking said, everything you've said. And I know I've said a lot more about it than you because I made predictions about things that are already coming true. And none of it's fake. If I don't know what I'm talking about, I won't say anything. If I don't know for sure, you look shit up all the time.
I look it up all the time.
If we don't know, I'll always be like, all right, I'm coming to a point in this conversation where I'm not sure if what I'm saying is true. Let's look this up and verify it so that we're saying actual facts and not just my opinion about what the statistics are. If we're talking about a certain topic and we're not sure, well, let's see how many people that affected. Let's see how many people are in this category. Let's see how many people experienced this. We will look it up and try to find the truth. How on earth do we put out misinformation about the fucking vaccine? Are you out of your fucking mind? That's a bunch of bullshit.
It is a bunch of bullshit because, look, we read articles.
Right.
And you can disagree with them. That's an opinion. You're right to do that. Disagree with them. But that we read the article and it was right there. It's not misinformation when it's published.
There's no greater indicator that you're telling the truth than when people are trying to shut you the fuck up.
That's true.
Just like this dude, man. Just putting a flag.
Yeah. No.
Letting people know.
I don't know.
Hey, man, I'm supporting. I don't even know if the dude's gay. Maybe he's not gay. Maybe he is gay. Maybe he's not gay. I don't fucking know. But I'll fucking put a goddamn gay flag on my fucking Jeep and drive it around all goddamn fucking day.
I can promise you this. If there are students in that school that are gay, they are terrified to be gay when they watch a teacher get fired for having the flag in their room.
No shit.
What message does that send to your student body? Like, oh, by the way, don't even think about it. I mean, that's a fact. That's like, what are you going to do?
Well, Subway's getting ready to drop Megan Rapinoe.
Subway? Like the food chain?
Subway, the food chain.
I don't give a shit about Subway.
They
drop whatever they want.
They're dropping Megan
Why don't they
Rapinoe.
drop 12 inches of sandwich on my plate instead of 9.5?
No, 9.5 inches of sandwich. I mean,
Where's
there
the rest of my
are a
damn
lot of
sandwich?
reasons not to eat at Subway.
There's a lot of that.
If you're not eating at Subway because Megan Rapinoe is sponsored by Subway, you're not eating at Subway for the wrong reason. Here's why you should not eat at Subway. Subway sucks. That's why you should not eat at Subway. have a Subway sandwich and then any other sandwich that you either make yourself or is made by any other place besides Subway. Have them sitting right next door to each other. Take a bite out of the sandwich from Subway. Take a bite out of the sandwich from any other place. And I can guarantee you the sandwich that you either made yourself or is made somewhere else is better than fucking Subway. Subway sucks. Does that mean Subway's never going to advertise on our fucking show? Big fucking deal. I don't give a fuck. Subway sucks.
I'll tell you what Jacob turned me on to this year is you go to Publix and you get your sandwich on mountain bread. Mountain bread, it's like this homemade, not sourdough, but it's delicious. It's got this white powder on it and it is good. And the best part about it, Marshall, is when you order a whole sandwich at Publix on mountain bread, you get 2 sandwiches.
Okay.
Because they pull the bread out of the middle of the loaf because the loaf's like a odd shape.
That already sounds
So you get
good.
2 soft, delicious, giant sandwiches for like $7.50.
I'm hungry for a sandwich right
Dude,
now.
they're good.
I will say my personal preference for sandwich bread is I like potato bread.
It's not like potato bread, but it's good. Dude, I could eat. He turned me on to mountain bread. You can go buy it at Publix. You can just buy a loaf of mountain bread. I will legit just eat the bread. It's delicious. It's good.
I mean, I believe it. Sounds
you can't
good.
Buy it nowhere else.
I'm definitely stopping and getting a sandwich on my way home.
Mountain bread.
I'm definitely going to get a sandwich. And if there's a Publix, which I don't think there is on my way, I'll stop and try some mountain bread.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's delicious. Well, Publix is open till 10, so you can get yourself.
All right. Well, I mean, hopefully. I will tell you this, no matter how late they're fucking open, I will not be going to Subway. I'll definitely not be going to Subway. Subway sucks.
And to second that, so is Blimpie. Fuck Blimpie. Blimpie and Subway.
I feel like Blimpie's all but shut down. I
know where there's one right next to the gym.
I feel like there's not many of them. There might not. And Quiznos is gone.
Quiznos is gone.
Quiznos disappeared.
Yeah, Jersey Mike's never really made it. There's a couple down here. And I like Jersey Mike's.
I will tell you what in terms of franchise sandwiches, I like Firehouse. I'll go to a
I
Firehouse
believe that.
and get a Firehouse sandwich. I like their
I didn't mind Firehouse, but then I got tired of everything being hot and just wet, because it all kind of like steamed.
Well, you have to eat it there. If you get a Firehouse to go, by the time you open up your Firehouse, it's it's a big soggy it's a big soggy mess. You got to eat it there. If you're going to get Firehouse, because I worked at a Firehouse for about 6 months.
Like 6 years.
And I will say that what they do is they lay the meat and the cheese on a wax paper, and then they put it in a steamer, and it melts it, and it makes it good, and then they drain it as best they can. Like, you hold it over, you drain as much of the water out of that as you possibly can, and then you put it on the sandwich. But if you don't eat it within minutes of it being made, you can't drain all of the juices out of it that steaming process creates, because it's continuing to steam inside the bread, inside the sandwich. If you take it to go and 10 minutes goes by, it's going to be a soggy, goopy mess.
I used to like to make Jersey Mike's, man. Oven fresh bread every day, pull it out, it'd be so soft. And then everything sliced fresh. Everything was very fresh. I ate the shit out of Jersey Mike's for a long time because I worked there. But what do you have to talk about today?
All right, let's see. We got a couple other things going on. Before my favorite topic always, Mike Lindell. We've already discussed it to the max. We are sending troops back to Afghanistan. Again, we cannot leave this place.
We can't. I saw the
No
article,
one can.
And I was cracking up. I was like, we didn't make it a week.
No.
They're like, we got to go save the embassy thing.
Right.
We got to go to the building. There's nobody there, but we need to go protect it.
So now
3,000
we're sending
troops.
3,000 troops back in to Afghanistan, and they're saying, well, we're going to send them in until they get everybody out, and then we're going to bring them home. Man,
what do we need an embassy for in Afghanistan? An embassy is for American citizens to go. It's where they go, and it's like American soil in another country and vice versa, right? Why are any Americans in Afghanistan? We should not be just hanging out there. We should have no need for the embassy. Like, what do we do? If you're not there with the military, what happened?
I don't understand why an American would want to be there at all. I can tell you, there is absolutely no element of being in Afghanistan that would appeal to me at all. And people, first of all, there are some people that just want to criticize Joe Biden no matter what he does. And I get that. Joe Biden deserves criticism, no doubt. He has fucked up almost every single thing in this country that he's done. Has been bad. The crime is worse. The border is worse. COVID is getting worse. The economy is not taking off. He has accomplished nothing, and he has fixed no problem. But I don't think we should be in Afghanistan. We need to leave. And if I listened today on the news, and they're like, oh, China's so happy that we're leaving Afghanistan. The Russians, they're so happy that let them go in. If the Chinese think that they're going to go in and rule Afghanistan and just, it's not going to happen. The Afghanistan people don't even like each other. They fucking hate each other. There's tribes and warlords and people all divided over that country. And again, to me, from what I've seen, it is just a bunch of rocks. It is not some great destination.
Right.
It looks like a horrible place to live, and the people there are just fucking hardcore as fuck about fighting. They just want to, it's like they wake up in the morning and they're like, who can I fucking kill? And do I think that bad things are happening as a result of us leaving? Yes, undoubtedly. People are being murdered. Women are being raped. That is an unfortunate element of life in the world that we live in. That is happening all over the world. It's not just happening in Afghanistan. And I know that we want to prevent the Taliban and Al Qaeda and all the terrorist organizations from having a place to gather and figure out a plot against us. But I can tell you, all those terrorist groups, they will do anything they can to attack America. They fucking hate us. If you think they hated us before 9/11, we're about to have the 20th anniversary of 9/11. They fucking hate us now. And we're splitting ourselves up, dividing each other over bullshit, so that we're not even unified in our fight against them anymore. We can't even agree on who our enemy is.
Right.
You're trying to make it sound like we need to maintain a military presence. We need to get everybody the fuck who's in America and just look at them all and be like, hey, man, we're leaving. We're getting out of Afghanistan. If you're an American, we don't need an embassy there. We can observe everything they're fucking doing from satellites that are thousands of miles above the Earth's surface. We can watch everything they're fucking doing. We can take pictures of it as precise as what I can take with my phone of you across the desk from me. If we want to know what's going on in Afghanistan, it is not hard to figure out. They don't want us there. That's a fact. Even the fucking people that we trained, outfitted, armed, 300,000 Afghanistan troops. And it's almost like the day we said we were leaving, they just fucking dropped their guns on the ground and said, we're not fighting. Al-Qaeda, not Al-Qaeda, the Taliban has already taken over 11, in 10 days, they've taken over 11 capitals.
Right.
Throughout the country in 10 days. That's because they're meeting zero resistance. Those are not battles. They're walking in, they're saying, we're the Taliban, we're taking over. And the people that are in charge of defending those cities are saying, go ahead and take over. We don't give a fuck.
It's true.
They're meeting no resistance. So why are we going to send our troops over there to get killed for people that don't want us there and are not going to defend themselves? We're not going to. We shouldn't. And there's no amount of propaganda that can convince me otherwise. We should defend ourselves from people that are invading us. We should take care of the problems that we're having in our own borders, inside of our own country. We should be attacking the problems of violence in our own country. We should be attacking the problems of homelessness in our own country. We should be attacking the problems of people not getting fully educated. Our education system sucks. Nobody's learning how to do anything. Nothing. A high school diploma now means zero. People have high school diplomas that cannot read and write. We're not teaching math. Everybody's like, oh, I'm on my phone. You better be able to fucking learn, man. You better be able to fucking do some shit.
All right, well, what else you got outside of Afghanistan?
Oh, okay, you don't like it when I go down.
Yeah, we're going to get off topic if you go down that path.
I always get off topic.
Fact.
All right, well, I'll do my last thing, and then we can
go talk to some people.
Go to talk to some folks. I know you're looking forward to that.
I always look forward to it.
All right. There are now less white people than ever. The census is out, and for the very first time in the history of the census, the number of white people has gone down. Less white people.
I did see, I guess, in accordance to that, this article here, people of color make up 95% of Texas's population growth, and cities and suburbs are booming, 2020 census shows. I mean, I don't know. I honestly, my opinion is I don't care. It affects me none. Who
It's
lives
an article.
like it
It's
does
an
not
article.
matter.
It made the news.
It made the news because
USA Today, by the way,
USA Today.
not
Let me
some
look it up.
far right.
USA Today.
USA Today.
What should we Google? USA Today census.
I believe in the title of the article it said America is now has less white people. I believe that was in the title of the article. And you're right. First of all, I'm not a big fan of white people.
This is what it says. Just so we are 100% clear. Census, U.S. sees unprecedented multiracial growth, decline in the white population for the first time in history. So that says the white non-Hispanic population without another race decreased by 8.6% since 2010. Now, if we want to be funny and make a dark joke, Marshall, we can say that 8.6% of those people probably live in Chicago. They are eliminating them every weekend. But at the end of the day, who gives a fuck? Who cares? Does it matter?
No,
or
it
does
doesn't.
matter?
The racial makeup of this country should not fucking matter
It
at
should
all.
not matter. It shouldn't even.
It doesn't
honestly
matter. We're all Americans.
It should be. It should be.
We're all on the same. We're all on the same side. It doesn't. It should make. We shouldn't even, honestly, in my opinion, keep track of that element of the population. Let's just keep track of where people are. So that, because based on population, that's where representation comes from.
Right.
And that should be distributed equally among based on where the people are living. That should be it. If we can remove that as a barrier, and look, I'm not joking when I say that I'm going to run. Now, I might not get any votes. Nobody might vote for me. But I will tell you what I'm going to do in terms of the racial issues that we have in this country is we are going to remove race as a statistic. We will not keep track of it for anything. I'm tired of listening to this percentage of this group is made up of. We're going to eliminate that. That's something that I will do as president. We are going to focus on the issues that matter, that make people's lives better: hunger, housing, healthcare, education, and cleaning up the environment. And whether or not you agree or disagree that we're affecting climate change in some way by human activity, we're definitely polluting the fuck out of the earth. And we're going to try to figure out a way to do that less.
I agree. I think that you should keep track of it for historical records. Like, I think that would be something that people would like to look back on and know. Like, all right, like people are proud of their heritage or whatever. Like, I think that they want to know. I don't think it should ever grace a headline like that. Decline in white population for the first time in history.
Insane.
It's an insanely race baiting title.
Sure.
And it's an anger baiting title to go, why the fuck aren't white people on top? Who's on top?
No doubt. No doubt.
Don't give a fuck. Does it affect you? Are they saying that, hey, here's where it becomes a problem. If they do something like China and said, all right, well, white people, you're allowed to have one child. Black people, you're allowed to have 2 children.
Right.
And we need more Asians. So Asians can have 17 children. And we need more of this, but we need less of it. If you say that, that's where we really have a problem. But it's articles like this that do frustrate me. And especially when people see us on our show and they go, oh, these guys are just right-wing fucking white man. It's like, look, dude, neither one of us dislikes anyone for their race, for any reason. I think that the article here, and I've said this about other articles, it's absurd that it's wrote like that. I don't care. You know what? If you have a friend named Steve and he's a white guy, and you have a friend named John and he's a black guy, do you say Black John all the time, or do you say John? It's like Morgan Freeman had an interview years ago where someone asked him about, defining people by race. And he said, do you want me to call you, Black Morgan Freeman, or should I just call you Morgan Freeman? He's like, well, that's who I am. The color of my ethnicity should not be preceding my name in any way. And I find that interview, because it's a fascinating interview. And it's a powerful interview. Let me see if I can find it. I bet if I just Google something real quick, it'll pop up. There it is. Because Morgan Freeman calls Black History Month ridiculous. And do you want? Have you ever heard this article, this interview?
Mm.
All right, so I'm gonna pull it up and we can listen to it, because I thought this was a great take on it, where we have Black History Month. You're gonna have to put on the headphones so you can hear it, so that they can hear it too. Because if you haven't heard it, and this is from what was it on, like Dateline or something? Let me see here. He was interviewed with somebody, Morgan Freeman, on Black History Month. Let's turn the volume up.
Black History Month,
60
you
minutes.
find
Ridiculous.
why?
You're going to relegate my history to a month?
Oh, come on.
What do you do with yours? Which month is White History Month? No,
Well-
come on, tell me.
Well, I'm Jewish.
Okay, which month is Jewish History Month?
There isn't one.
Oh, why not?
Yeah.
Do you want one?
No.
No,
I
I don't either. I don't want a Black History Month. Black history is American history.
How are we going to get rid of racism?
Stop talking about it. I'm going to stop calling you a white man.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you to stop calling me a black man. I know you as Mike Wallace. You know me as Morgan Freeman.
So that's the interview, and I found that interview look, that's spot on the money, and that was from a while ago, obviously, because we did.
Well, I think a lot of people. I mean, I think a lot of people feel that way. I think
a lot of people don't feel that way.
No, I think that there are a handful of people that try to plant that in people's heads as much and as often as they possibly can. I think most people, I spend my whole life outside of this room, and the topic of race comes up almost never. And I'm around 90% of my coworkers. At least 50% of my customers are black. I come up to the table and greet them. They don't go, oh, we got a white guy. I don't think to myself, oh, I've got a black table. I'm there to make money. I don't give a shit. I love my coworkers. They're like family to me.
I think the amount of people that think that when you walk up, that think it in their head and don't say it, is higher than you think.
Well, but they don't say it.
They don't say it. They don't,
And so, maybe they do. Maybe they do. I don't know. I know that whenever I think about it myself, whenever in my own way of dealing, I try to always, because I will be at, if you've ever worked in a restaurant, you when you're at the computer and you're putting stuff in, you will hear the frustrated conversations of the other servers and what they're saying, what kind of table they got. And people will make comments about the race of the people that they're serving. I've heard it many times. To deny that is not reality. But it's gotten better over the years. You don't hear it as much. And what I would try to do as president is I would remove it from all elements as a statistic from anything that we keep track of. That would be my goal, because I agree with what he's saying. It's not, we are creating divisions on purpose. There are people that benefit from it. Why do we have a Black History Month? There are people out there who make money on the fact that there's a Black History Month. There are people that benefit from it financially. They sell things that say it. They promote events that have it. And I guarantee you that the people that make money off of Black History Month are not all black. And I don't even think the idea of having a Black History Month probably even came from black people. I would be willing to bet that the idea of a Black History Month came from a white guy as a way to make money off of black people.
You're probably right.
I mean, Every statistic that we show is going to, if it involves race, there's never going to be perfectly balanced statistics that demonstrate racial harmony. It just isn't going to be that way. Whatever the reflection of the population is not going to be perfectly accurately reflected in every single group of people that is in the world. It's not possible. There's going to be variations. Some people are interested in other things that has nothing to do with race. Just like trying to say that certain races are good tippers and certain races are bad tippers. That's not true. There are people that tip very well of every race. There are people that tip shitty of every race. There are people that like certain types of food. There are people that like certain types of clothing. There are people that like certain types of music. It's not ascribed to them by race. And the more we get away from that, the better off we're going to be. That's not our enemy. Our enemy is not race. Our enemy is the constant discussion of race.
It's true.
And if we can eliminate that and focus on the things that actually matter, we could start moving forward.
That's a good point.
So that's going to be that's my stance. If you're wanting to know what my position is on it and what I would do to resolve, I try to resolve issues. I'm going to try to look at the things that are wrong with this country and try to fix them myself, because nobody else is even trying to do it. They don't want to do it. You think there's anybody in a leadership position in America that is trying to solve the problem of racism in America? Fuck no. They're figuring out how can they profit off of it. That's all they care about.
Yeah, you're right.
And they do. They do profit off of it. They make money. Black History Month makes money for somebody. There are people out there that make money from there are people out there that make money from the racial divide that we have in this country. Period.
Yeah.
And it is hammered into our heads every day by the traditional media, in the newspaper, on the radio, on TV. You hear about it nonstop. In my life that I spend around we have Asians, we have blacks, we have Hispanics, everybody at my job. And me as a white guy. And you know how often we talk about race? Fucking never. Never. Nobody ever says to me, Marshall, you're the white guy. Nobody says that. And I am the white guy. It can easily be pointed out all the time. None of the Hispanic people who speak Spanish to each other on a regular basis, no one's upset by it. No one's offended by that. I've never understood why people are upset, because I hear people, they're like, speak English, motherfucker. Nobody says that at my job. We have people that are Asian in my job that speak Chinese to each other. Nobody is mad at them for speaking in their language. Why? Why would you be mad? I remember my Dominican friend was at Walmart one night with his mother, and he introduced me to his mother, and I said something to her, and he was like, well, I tried to talk to her, and he was like, well, you're not gonna be able to talk to her. She doesn't speak English at all. And I was like, well, does that make her nervous? Does that make her scared to live in America and not speak English at all? Is she afraid to go out? And he looked at me, he was like, dude, in my neighborhood, she does not need to speak English. She doesn't need to. Everywhere she goes, everybody speaks Spanish. And for some reason, there are people in the media that would like to promote that as a negative thing. It's not. You think we all speak the exact same form of English? Travel around the country. Go to different parts of the country. You will barely understand what people are saying to each other. People have a different way of talking in different states, in different cities, in different areas of the country. They talk different. It's no big deal. It's fine. Let's remove race as a barrier to people getting along. Let's remove it as something that we constantly track and discuss and let's focus on other issues that actually matter in terms of improving the lives of the people that live here. We're all here. We've all got to live together. We've all got to get along.
That's true.
So I hope that we can. That's what I'm going to try to do as your president.
As your president. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna check on this kid, and then we'll kick off our meeting.
All right. Find some people out there who want to talk about the different things happening in the world. I'd like to see us focus on the things that matter. I would love to see us focus on the things that people truly care about. Let's make sure everybody's educated. Let's make sure everybody's stomach is full. Let's make sure everybody has a place to sleep. Let's make sure that we can cure people of diseases because we can. One of the reasons nobody wanted to get vaccinated is because people are intimidated by how many people have no insurance in this country. I think it's like 70 million people who never, if you don't have insurance, you're not going to the doctor on a regular basis. You're not receiving updated health information. You're not having conversations with somebody who can see your health declining. And we're just supposed to all of a sudden, out of the blue, trust some vaccine that got practically made overnight to solve an invisible virus that nobody can see and supposedly can kill you. And they don't have anybody that they can trust in the medical profession. They don't trust the person in charge of the CDC. They don't trust Dr. Fauci. They don't trust the president. They don't trust anybody. And those are the things that we need to solve and that we need to fix. And everybody's got their issues. And I can assure you that regardless of your race, there are things that are affecting all of us. And I hope that we can get past that. And I think that the way to get past it is to stop talking about it all the goddamn time. That's my personal opinion. And stop tracking that statistic on every single element of society, because that's what we do.
I agree.
We constantly talk about this percentage of there's this percentage of people and this, and I'm just like, man, just let everybody be. I really, really, really don't have that conversation with all of my coworkers ever. And we get along fine. So,
well, let's see what we can. I'm gonna put Joe Biden. It's not.
Oh, we're gonna put Joe Biden.
Why not?
Talk about Joe Biden.
Why not? And then anything else we should put in there as our topics?
It's so weird that you mentioned, because I had something in mind I wanted to discuss and I can't remember what it was. No, just put Joe Biden. You can just put Joe Biden. We'll see what that does.
Well, then let's throw our phones on and kick off our Meagle session for the night and see if we can't find somebody interesting to talk to again. Who knows? You never know what we're going to come up with.
I know. It's intense, though.
It's intense.
It is intense.
A little bit. You're like,
because you don't know what they're going to say, what they're going to think. I hate it when people.
I think a lot of them are out here to troll people and just try to incite something with something.
Well, that's fine.
But we'll see. We can stop that.
Yeah.
We stop that after. Let's see what happens. We're going to kick it off, folks.
All new. We're going to have new conversations. I don't like to see people we've seen before.
What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, bud?
I'm okay. How about you?
We put our topic on there. We put Joe Biden. We're trying to find out what people's thoughts are on Joe Biden. What do you?
The guy that falls asleep all the time?
Oh, well, I mean, he does a lot of different things, but I guess he does fall asleep occasionally. So you don't have a high opinion of him, I guess.
No, I do not.
Okay. Well, you sound like you're pretty young. Might not necessarily. Where are you from?
I'm from Poland.
Okay.
Okay.
And so you have a bad opinion of Biden.
Yeah.
You think as a president, he is having a negative impact on our relationship with your country?
Yeah. I mean, when Trump was in charge, our countries were like really good friends. Yeah.
Okay.
But when he was in charge, like nothing's interesting going on. You know what I mean? I don't think he's a good guy.
Oh wow. Okay. So what has he done that's negatively affected you all, or negatively affected our relationship with your country?
I don't think he's like. I think the way he doesn't run the country. The people that help him run it for him. He does nothing.
Okay. Fair
Like,
enough.
He's not in charge. I think the Kamala Harris is in charge,
Oh wow.
Okay.
and she's like controlling him.
I don't even think Kamala Harris is in charge. I think both of them are just the face. I think Kamala was the pretty minority face to show up, and Biden was the old white dude who institutionally they wanted to see a president. And I think that the rest of the behind the scenes characters manipulate both of them.
So what policies would you like to see the U.S. go back to that Trump had put in place that would make our relationship with your country better?
I mean, look. I think that look. Hold on. The way that like, you know how Poland is like very close borders, yeah? Like, to be in Poland you have to be Polish. Like, mother or grandparent, father or mother or grandfather or grandmother, you have to have blood in you to be Polish. Yeah?
Right. Okay.
And I think that in America they should have tighter borders, yeah? Like that what he was doing, that was perfect.
Okay.
What the Democrats are doing right now, they're gonna start giving illegal immigrants more rights and stuff. And why they should get rights if they come here illegally?
Okay. So you're Polish, but you're in America, right?
Yeah, I've been in America a couple times.
Okay. Are you living in America now, or are you in Poland?
Sure, yeah, I'm living in America.
Oh, okay. All right. So you migrated, I'm assuming legally, from Poland
Yes.
to America. Are you an American citizen, or are you still?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you've gone.
Yes.
People are coming across the border illegally and are able to kind of sidestep the process that you went through to become a citizen in America.
Exactly.
And what do you think would be a solution to that problem?
I think that stronger borders, you know what I mean? And I think instead of having only 10 questions, they should have 20.
Okay, so you think that the testing to become an American citizen is too simplified?
Yeah, it's too simple.
And you think that so is that all there is? The test to become an American citizen is 10 questions?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember how much is it though.
Okay, and then you think that we should have stronger border security. Are you in favor of a wall?
Yeah.
And what do you think is causing all these people to come to America?
Right now, it's because the Democrats are making it like, oh, like you'll get, even if you come here illegal, you'll get benefits.
So, but do you think that life in their country is good?
No, but if they want to come here, they should do it legally.
Okay.
Just so we're 100% correct on the citizenship test, it is you must answer 6 out of 10 questions correctly, 10 out of 100 potential questions. So they have a test here that you can study. It's 100 questions, and they're going to ask you 10 of the 100, and to pass you must get 6 out of the 10 correct. So he's right with that.
I think you should get 12 questions out of 20.
12 out of 20? I mean, I don't think the questions are that difficult to get even 70 out of 100 correct. Honestly,
Exactly.
I mean, listen, and if you want to go through American education system and you want to go through our schooling, you're going to have to answer at least 70% of 100 of them fucking questions to make it through high school. So you don't have to do that.
So now you are able to vote in an American election, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, here's the thing. This is my opinion, and this is what I want to share with you. I feel like all of our government officials have done a poor job governing this country. And I feel like one of the reasons that they've done such a poor job is because we have such a limited choice of the candidates that run for office. We have two parties, Democrat and Republican, neither one of which truly seem to care about the citizens at all. Would you agree with that?
I would absolutely agree with that.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm going to run myself. We do a podcast. Our podcast is called Free as Fuck. We believe in the freedom of the citizens and what we should, and the actual freedoms that we should be able to enjoy. And what I'm trying to do is meet people like yourself and find out, what could I do if I was president? What could I do that would improve the country in the ways that are most important to people like you? So you're an immigrant who has become an American citizen. You are the American dream. If you could choose one thing that we could do, that you could talk directly to the president, saying, I became president, I'm now talking to you and I'm saying, what can I do for you as an American citizen to make this country better, make your experience as a citizen better?
I would say stronger borders to like protect people. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because if we bring too much people in, there more crime will go up. Look, most of the crime that happens, like most drug crimes, are always because of the illegal immigrants.
Is that true?
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Is that something you think, or is that something you know? Because what we try to do, one of the things that we try to do on our show, whenever we have something like that we think is our opinion about a topic, we try to research that information. We try to find that out. We try to find out if that's the case. I'm quite sure that that's what's happening as we speak. Lorne is very good at instantly pulling up that type of information.
I'll look into it. I argued this. We had this topic come up pretty recently. And I argued this. If people in America would stop doing drugs, they would stop bringing them here. But we really fucking like to do them. Americans love heroin, cocaine, all this shit. It's not like the second argument to that, and believe me, we don't need it here in any regard. But the argument is they're not coming here and forcing us to do the drugs. We, as a country, just love to fucking do it, and they just love to make money off us, and they keep coming. If you stop buying the drugs, stop shooting them up, they're going to stop sending them here. They're going to find somewhere else to send the shit. But for some reason, there's a vast majority of people here that love to do the shit out of these illegal drugs, and they're going to keep coming.
Well, listen, buddy, it's been interesting to talk to you. You certainly have a very good perspective on things. How old were you when you came over from Poland?
10.
10 years old. And how long did it take from the time you got here until you became a citizen? How long was that process?
I think like maybe around a year for me.
Okay. Not bad. So you by the time you were 11, you were able to become a citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Very good. Well, good. And certainly welcome. We're glad to have you as an American citizen. I hope you go out and vote. I hope you become an avid watcher of our show. We would love for that to happen. And we will definitely, one of the things that I do want to do, if and when the time comes, I'm able to become president, is resolve the immigration issue in a way that's best for everybody. And I think our government's failed us in that regard for a very long time. And definitely a very important issue. I'm glad you brought it up.
Per the Cato Institute, 2019, 77% of drug traffickers are U.S. citizens, not illegal immigrants. That's per the Cato Institute. What does that mean? I mean, it means that, to me, that it's probably that they are using Americans, or Americans are volunteering to get paid to bring drugs across the border. Which, we all already know that they shove them in people and they use them as mules to get them in here. And then obviously they probably move bigger weight through planes and airports and ports
Boats and stuff.
Yeah, they get the big shit up in here straight through law enforcement checkpoints. So, but it is a problem. That is a problem. If we stop using the drugs, they will stop sending them here. They will find somewhere else to sell the shit to. They're definitely not going to stop selling it. They make too much money. But As long as we're willing to keep shooting them up and buying them, they're going to keep coming.
All right, my friend. Well, it's been great talking to you. Thank you so much. America needs more citizens like yourself. Just go out and vote next time, and we'll just spread the message. We are free as fuck, and we are here fighting for your rights, my friend.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
Thank you.
Oh.
All right. Now we'll come back here again.
Goodness. Yeah, it's loud.
How you doing, man?
Fantastic.
All right, we're a podcast.
No, I just don't want
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You can cover yourself up. We're out here trying to figure out what are the things that what is the most critical issue you think is facing the citizens of America right now?
climate change.
Climate change. Okay. And what do you think might be a potential solution, or what do you think our government could be doing to address that problem?
Just,
I think
before you get
just-
started, I just took you off of our view, so you don't have to hold your thumb.
Oh,
there.
all right.
There you
All
go.
right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I think just like paying more attention to it than we already are. Like, I think Biden's doing a much better job with that, like, than Trump was. But
Okay. He's addressing that issue better. You
Yeah.
think? Okay.
I think so. I think just pouring like lots of money and time into research on that, because we don't know like as much as we need to.
Okay. I would agree. I think most people don't even think it's an issue at all.
Yeah,
And
depending on where you live.
right, depending on where you live, and you're obviously young, so it's going to impact your life far more than it would
For
ever
sure.
impact mine. I've heard that a few times. Obviously, one of the things we could all do is just clean up. The world's a mess. The country's a mess. The ocean's a mess. The air is a mess. And if we would just clean up after ourselves and be more aware of what we're putting into the environment, I think that could make a big difference. Do you drive?
I'm learning.
Oh, okay, you're learning to drive. Are you going to get an electric car?
Not like as a teenager. Not
Okay.
as a teenager, but
Right.
maybe like it depends later in my life how much money I have, basically.
Okay, sure.
Man, you can get a model. You can get a Model 3 for less than a decent new car. I mean, about 23 grand,
Yeah.
20 grand. A used one, by the time you're probably ready to make a good purchase, probably maybe 18,000. Model 3 is an excellent choice. I drive a Model X myself. I've had a Model X for about a year, and man, I'm telling you, there's nothing better than driving them things. Teslas are amazing.
Yeah.
When you have conversations with your friends, do you think your friends are politically aware of the things that are going on in the world?
Yes. However, I do think that I've sort of like all of my friends share pretty similar political beliefs to me. So like,
Okay.
I'm sort of in this like bubble.
Right. No, yeah, undoubtedly. Most people are. You're not alone there. So do you think that something that would improve our government's performance would be if the citizens had more candidates, a more diverse lineup of candidates to choose from than just Democrats
Like,
and Republicans?
Yeah, and then other people that won't win. Yeah.
Right, because right now, if you're not a Democrat or a Republican, your chances
Yeah.
of winning are almost zero.
Yeah.
Right.
I definitely think that would be good.
Are you old enough to vote?
No.
Okay. Will you be old enough to vote in the next election?
Yeah, next presidential election.
In 2024, you'll be old enough.
Yep.
Okay. And are you planning on exercising your right, or is that something that's
For
important to
sure.
you?
For sure.
Okay. So you're going to go out and you feel like the people, your friends that are in your age group, that's important to them as well?
Yeah, I think so.
Are they?
Although,
Go ahead.
although where I live, like my vote is like it's Maryland, so it's pretty much like always going to vote Democrat. Like my vote doesn't matter that much. I think that it's still just good practice to always like exercise that right.
Do you think that of course, and I would guess then that when you say that you think Biden's done a better job than Trump, that means that you lean towards voting for Democrats, correct?
Oh yeah.
So do you think that the Democrats have done a good job handling the climate crisis that we face as a country?
As of right now, definitely not. Like,
right.
Because we're still facing this crisis, I think that that's like sufficient evidence that we're not handling it well enough.
Sure.
But I do think that because they're just not pretending that it doesn't exist, like I would argue that the Republican Party is for the most part just pretending that it doesn't exist. I think Democrats are handling it much better.
Right. Well, it sounds to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds to me like neither one of them is living up to what you would expect them to be doing to solve the problem. The Democrats are doing a slightly better job than the party that's literally doing nothing.
Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Well, I don't think that they're doing enough, but I think that,
All right. Well, I agree with you. I agree with everything that you're saying. Here's what I'm going to try to do as a concerned citizen and as a parent of a child that is roughly your age. I've told my partner on this show, and I've announced it to the people that watch this show, that I plan on running for president myself in the next election. And the reason that I'm doing that isn't even necessarily because I want to be president. It is because I am tired in my lifetime of watching the exact same issues come up again, and again. And literally, no matter what party is in power, they don't solve any of the problems. Nothing. They do nothing about them. They complain about them. They sometimes talk about a potential solution for them, but ultimately in the end, they do nothing to solve it. And so I'm going to at least try to bring about the solutions that could make the changes that we need. I don't know how much of an impact that's going to have, but that's what I'm going to try to do. And I hope that you become a regular viewer of our show and can allow us to help that process.
What's your show called?
We are the Free as Fuck podcast on YouTube.
Okay.
Normally we're streaming on Podcast Planet channel, but because we had ourselves a fantastic conversation about COVID and Delta and masks, we got a live stream strike on it. So
okay,
we're on my other channel here. This is my other channel that I talk about other current events and stocks and life. But I'll post a link up there and you can check it out. And you can find us on there. We do a couple shows a week, and we like to talk to different people, and stay open-minded and try to address the situation, because we both look at it and go, there's a shitstorm everywhere, and no one seems to care, except other than to make people angry about the shitstorm around us. So
yeah, nobody's trying to solve the problems. It seems like they're just trying to make things worse. So yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, it's good to talk to you. We'll talk to you later. Oh, here we go. How you doing, bud?
Let's see. Are you streaming something?
Yeah, we're on a podcast right now. We're live. We got you on the show. You mind?
I'm a bit scared.
Don't be scared. Don't be nervous.
We're just, if you don't want to,
we can take your face off if you'd like, or we can have you on there, whatever you want to do. We're going to ask you a couple questions about what you think is the most critical problem that we're facing right now as a world, and just we want to hear your opinion. That's all.
Thank you for taking interest in me, but I'll let you crack on, okay?
All right.
Take care. Have a good night.
Sure, bud. No problem.
Bye-bye.
You're exciting. What is this?
You're on a podcast right now. We're going to ask you about what you feel are the most important issues that our world is facing. All right. Fair enough. So she had Joe Biden or politics on her thing and didn't want to.
Politics on there. Politics. See if it pops up anybody else.
I think when people see that floating American flag behind me, they think it's a right wing.
Maybe. Or maybe.
I'm not saying take it down. It doesn't.
We'll see. Who knows, man? Look, it's a good time either way.
Yeah, I like it. I don't care.
Let's see. Let's hit chat. We might need to change our topic from politics to something else.
Whoa.
What's up?
Hey man, how you doing?
What's going on here? What's up?
We're doing a podcast. We talk about the issues that the world is facing. We want to get your opinion on some things. We're going to ask you a few questions. You up for that?
I mean, yo, I wasn't expecting it, but yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, there you
We
go.
got
Step
politics
up.
in the chat. Let's talk about it.
We want to hear.
sure.
We want to hear your thoughts, man. We want to know if you could, if you had the opportunity to talk about what is the most important issue that the world is facing right now. What would that be?
Oh,
No,
my
take your
goodness.
time. Take your time. Don't you? There's no right answer. There's no right answer.
Yeah, I feel you. Let's see, I'd say
Oh, we lost him.
How you doing?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm doing real good. We got you live on our podcast. We're going to ask you a few questions about the issues facing the world.
They don't want to do it. They don't like it.
All right.
This guy's playing a guitar.
Ooh,
Hey, man, how you doing?
Jamming.
What? Oh,
I don't know, man. Some people just don't want to.
I think it's the. I think it might be
What's
the.
up?
How you doing, bud?
How's it going, man?
Good, bud. How are
Hey,
you?
excited?
Yeah, man, I'm doing great, man. Like, so what is this thing all about, man?
We got you live on our podcast. We're going to ask you about the issues facing the world is facing right now.
Got it, man. Totally. I'll
Oh.
answer all those questions.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Got it,
What do you feel like is the most pressing issue that the world is facing at the moment?
Globalization, really, mass industrialization, really. I think overall that's the biggest issue, or also massive corruption and the issue of overburdened governments, really.
Okay. All right. And what part of the world do you live in?
The United States, yes.
Okay. So how do you feel about the government that we have right now? Do you think they're doing a good job taking care of the citizens or no?
No, I think overall they're trying to do too much overall as the federal system stands, really, and overall it seems like it's cannibalizing itself to a point where it could possibly even die in its own right. So I think they're kind of doing themselves in.
So if right now there's a $3.5 trillion budget proposal, and it looks like that stands a good chance of being passed. Well, how do you feel like that's going to impact the country?
I think more or less things aren't really inherently new. We've done bills like this back in the past during the 2000 economic recession. Really, we were trying to kind of do ideas to try to boost economy in different areas, and for work projects or things of that nature. But I see the money going everywhere else for different infrastructure jobs, and ultimately ending up in the hands of local governments that will kind of waste it or go nowhere, but essentially.
Yeah, exactly. So when we pass a $3.5 trillion package, do you feel like the everyday citizen is even going to see any of that impact in their lives?
At best, maybe it'll be up, and maybe you'll see some streets getting a little bit paved over, or some things maybe getting changed. But I imagine it will maybe go to people's salaries. It'll go random elsewhere. It'll go to useless union budgets and other things to pay for pension programs.
Sure.
I think they're going to take that money and shut down our freaking highway and make traffic a shit show. They're gonna be like, look at our infrastructure.
Yeah.
You had 7 lanes, now you have 2.5. But
No,
in 10
basically,
years,
yeah,
you'll
like
have 3.5.
It's like how LA did that thing with that bike lane thing, where they took they took like a roadway out and they made it like a bike lane, but it made it to like 3-way traffic instead of 4-way. And the one street they did was pretty funny. So then like traffic got more blockaded.
Yeah, infrastructure.
So if you were in charge, what would you do? What would you do differently?
I guess I would try to make sure the money would be allocated towards actually infrastructure projects, really, and things meaning towards the the benefit of the populace or other subsets. It also fund for waste management more often for picking up of trash or litter within the local areas and townships and counties. But I would make sure it wouldn't also end up in the pension program system within the state. I would make sure it would actually go to services rather than actually the payment of large union groups.
Right now, I'm assuming that you're old enough to vote.
Oh yeah, I voted my first primary in the state of New Jersey. Yeah.
Okay, very good. And my question is, do you feel like the U.S. would benefit from having a wider choice of candidates outside of just the two parties that we currently have?
I think we already gain a good amount of people on the ballot. Depending in certain states, you can have tons of people be on the ballot off the ballot. In like states like New Hampshire and in Vermont, you can have up to 20 people on the ballot, which exists. In New Jersey, it's like 5 or so people. Outside of there's the Greens, Libertarian, there's Socialist Workers, there's other candidates. But for the most part, I imagine Americans really don't change outside of maybe getting more radical in the right or left spectrum for other candidates. So I don't see much changing.
Do you feel like that the system that we have now is working in terms of the change that we need to have in the country? Like just what you mentioned, it sounds like you're dissatisfied with the performance of the government.
Well, yeah, on the state level and also the township level and on on the county level as well. It's in a district. But to the most part, I would like to see bigger change on the federal level. But at the same time, I have to wait till like 2022 and see where the midterms go. So it's all about waiting until I see the outcome being better. So who knows?
Do you think if Joe Biden is reelected, he's going to solve some of the problems that America is facing?
I see more his case is just being expanding the power of the United States federal government, which overall would just kind of overbloated system really, but I don't see much changing. We've already suffered mass poverty and mass, issues of, facing with the workers, unemployment, we've, overgrown the system. I see a more bloated, dead carcass of a federal government than anything else in the future.
Very good. Sounds like you keep track of things.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're up on what's going on in the world, right?
Oh yeah, definitely is.
Good for you. Good for you. I love Jersey. I used to live there. I lived in Secaucus. And I used to love to go over to Manhattan when I was up there. So, what's the current? Is everything in Jersey open right now? Are there no limits to what you all can do in terms of the businesses, masks? How is that all working?
Back on May 28th, the governor had signed a new executive order ending the mask mandate for public businesses to keep it going. So majority of all the mask mandates in public buildings have gone away, but if under state controlled buildings are still mandating masks to be worn. So, but outside in the public sector, they are basically open for most people. But besides that, there's a fear that he might reinstate mask mandates maybe after the gubernatorial election. So,
are the employees are not required to, so nobody's wearing masks right now in the public sector?
In the public sector, yeah, but I still see some workers who are preparing materials or, like dealing with stuff that still need to be mandated masks. Others don't. It really depends on the employer and the case, really, if the company or from their corporate sector has been forcing them to do so. So it's very indifferent on a lot of areas.
Okay, but as a customer of a business, you can go in.
You can walk in with no mask on. Yeah. You can do that.
So down here, we see a lot of if you're 100% vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask, but you also don't have to prove that. So it's almost
that's a loophole.
It's almost just a feel-good sign.
Basically, I did get vaccinated, but yeah.
You did?
I did, yeah.
Okay, what was your choice to do that? What was the reason?
I had a feeling that my college was going to force me eventually to do it. So eventually I just did it before they would force me to do it. But now there's a new booster shot coming out for people who are immune. Like they're going to try forcing that on people, I imagine. So I got to wait around for that. So
yeah.
Did you, when you got the shot, did you experience any side effects during,
No side effects.
Nothing.
Did you have any interaction with COVID prior to getting the shot?
I had no interaction with coronavirus up until that point, so the majority of the time I was fine.
Yeah, see, I never tested. I never went and got tested for it. My girlfriend at the time was positive. I spent every day with her, like 100%. I was completely fine. I mean, I didn't mask up for her and all. I mean, I stayed away from like other people when I was around her for a while, but I had zero effects from it whatsoever. She got a little bit tired. She had like no energy and she was tired, and obviously the taste and smell kind of changed. Yeah. But outside of that, she was fine. A couple people in my family had it and they were fine. My mother being one of them, who's old. She's like 74 or something. She's old. She's born in 54 or 56. I don't know, man. She's old.
Well, hey, buddy,
she wasn't scared. She was like, I feel fine. So I was just curious if you had any interaction with it. Could have gotten the shot, because now they're saying you get the shot, you can still get the COVID, you can still pass it. It is what it's not going away. We know that it's going to be around. It's just a thing now, and how scared you are is going to be up to you, and how it affects you.
Essentially,
yeah. Absolutely. Well, hey, man, listen, I appreciate your time. Appreciate you answering a few questions for us. We look forward to hopefully this getting better for all of us. We hope that whatever has to happen happens, so that we can get on with our lives and start living back the way we should be. No masks, no vaccines, just
no restrictions. Yeah.
Just people living. So good luck to you. Appreciate your time. Thank you a lot, man.
You too. See you soon, man.
Sure. One more.
All
We'll
right.
do one more. Hello.
Or just skip that one. They're not paying attention to nothing.
Same guy.
Yeah, same guy. We'll just skip out.
How you doing, bud?
Go.
How you doing, man?
I'm pretty okay. Yeah, I'm good, I guess.
Okay, good. Well, we're on a podcast, and we discuss political issues. We're here to ask you about the things that you feel like are the most pressing issues going on in the world right now, the most critical elements, things that could be fixed to make the world better. What do you think that might be?
Well, I think socialism is pretty cool.
Oh, you like socialism?
I do like socialism.
Okay, very interesting. That's a new perspective. What do you like about it?
Well, it's an economic system that is capable of not always working in primarily the interest of capital, but also the interest of the general public, the people, not just in the interest of the capitalist. It's a system capable of not only using innovation to find more creative ways to like exploit people, to make you pay more money. It's also a system that can use its innovation to actually further do good things for humanity. It's pretty cool. It's a system that allows the people who work the machines to own the machines, which in my opinion is just good things. There's more to say, but can keep it simple, I guess.
I mean, it sounds to me like you put some thought into it. There's a huge part of society that is very anti-socialism, and they get very angry when that word is brought up.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure you're only talking about like America, which is not the entirety of like human society.
Sure.
Socialism is pretty popular in South America, as far as I know.
Okay, is that where you're from?
No, I'm not from South America. I have some friends though. No, I live in Germany, which is not socialism. Sweden isn't socialism either. I don't know, maybe some people are a bit misinformed on those kinds of things. The Scandinavian countries aren't socialism either. That's all capitalism. Yeah, I live in Germany. My parents are from Iran. My dad was in the revolution, and if you know some Persian history or Iranian history, you know that for leftists, that revolution didn't end very well. So he had to flee here, build his little life, and now I'm here.
So the system in Germany is not socialist.
It's not, no. Having social safety nets has not anything to do with like socialism. Socialism is usually identified by the workers owning the means of production, but of course it has other, like something that could introduce socialism is the democratization of the workplace. This idea is like, I think there's an American guy like Richard Wolff or someone like that trying to like push that idea. The idea is basically that I'll pretend like we base our lives around democracy because we're so advanced and so great, but as far as we know, we work a lot. A lot of people spend most of their time at work. A lot of people spend more time at work than with their loved ones even. And then you should ask yourself, why is this place where I spend so much time in my life systematically closer to a monarchy almost than a democracy? So there's this call for democratization of the workplace, which would basically end worker exploitation, because if your boss has to like be voted in, you're not going to vote for someone who's going to exploit you. He has to, just like politicians in theory, he has to act in your interest to an extent, enough to make you vote for him. And eventually, over like a long period of time, if access to the necessary education to go to those kinds of positions would be there, you would get a system like socialism.
All right. Well, it sounds like I mean, the way that you make it sound, it would be a much better system than what we currently have.
That's because it is.
When you're at work, do you feel like the place that you work? Do you work? You have a job?
I do work. I do have a job.
Okay, and so is the place that you work now? Is it like a monarchy?
No. The point of that comparison is to just make clear how so much of your time is spent in something that has nothing to do with democracy, in a space that is undemocratic, and this especially applies to like I work in a like family business. I have like actual direct contact with my boss. Most people who work in jobs can't say that, especially people who live in like work in like jobs with very big companies, and especially there it applies. Like if a woman, a mother of like 3 children in Bangladesh, sews shit for H&M, or can I curse?
Yeah, our podcast is called Free as Fuck.
So stuff for H&M, she doesn't have a vote in if the building where she does it is stable, and then stuff happens, and then they break apart because the company didn't care enough, and people die. And maybe people protest for a week, and then they forget, and no one cares anymore. This democratization is especially effective and necessary for those kinds of things. Like a family business is already democratized to the extent that you can like actually have relations with the boss, but like most employees don't have that. A lot of employees have never seen their boss. So that's more like a monarchy. There's no democracy in that.
Well, you got a very interesting perspective, my friend. I definitely appreciate your input. We will chat with you again at some point in the future. I wish you the very best, and you've opened our eyes. Thank you.
Gladly.
I'm omegled out.
Omegled out.
Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're
sometimes they're hit or miss. It's all good.
Yeah.
You never
No,
know.
I
what
enjoy
you'll
it.
find out
I
there.
like it. I like getting the perspective of youth.
Well, there's a good bit of youth on Omegle.
Yeah, I mean
sure.
they're out there. They're young. They seem to be paying attention to what's going on in the world. I think that's important. Gives me hope.
I
At least
agree.
the ones that are on there. So what else you got, man? You got anything else to take us out?
I'll tell you what. Let's just go through. Let me refresh the news feed and just see what is on. You know what? I've been pulling up InfoWars just to see what they're doing over there. Let's see. Texas restaurants back down after government informs them vaccine requirements. That happened. Group calls on Austin to cancel ACL Fest, super spreader event. Swedish politician who called UN climate report scare propaganda, forced to resign from party. What else we got here? We already saw the Arnold Schwarzenegger bit where he was telling people he didn't care what your opinion was. Nuclear. Oh wow, look at this guy. Some of it gets a little bit too fetched even for me, but this one says nuclear war declared on children in latest mandatory COVID injection push. This is just opinions, man. These are just opinions of people.
Well, obviously you got to be real careful what you say. If we're getting
Yeah.
look
Look at this cartoon. Biden. How do you like my bag of money? Come on. That's hilarious, Marshall. Look at him. He's Bob Ross, but he's naked, surrounded by trucks with his laptop open. Painting it for the big guy. Come on.
I guess.
Come on.
Hunter Biden? Is that who that is?
That's what it's supposed to be, Hunter Biden. He's Hunter Biden smoking a crack pipe painting some artwork from a bag of money from
I don't
China.
understand the obsession with that dude, man. Honestly, I really feel. You know what? I feel like he's just this.
Oh hell!
And I won't even. I'm not an art person at all, but I couldn't do the drawings that he's. I mean, I don't know what those are. I don't know what you consider them. I guess that, but I mean, it seems better than what I could make. I mean, it's
yeah, that one's a good one. Look at that one. It's people on the street. Insiders say the governor considered himself untouchable, and it says Cuomo resigns, and it says if only he had given women around him the same consideration.
I mean, you know what? He's getting exactly what he deserves.
Look at that one. That might make a good T-shirt. That's all, folks. God damn, dude. The internet is undefeated, Marshall. They are undefeated when it comes to memes and shit. They're just you can't stop them. Oh wow, video of woman body slammed at a gas station during attempted carjacking. Did you see the fight at the Brave Stadium? There was a fight posted on social media. These two women going at it full MMA style.
Women are getting in a lot of fights. Yeah. Women are. I had one of the girls I worked with was like, "Hey, let me show you this fight I got in the other day." She was in an all-out brawl in a dorm, and basically the video she showed me was her running into fighting like 10 people. I was like, Jesus Christ, you guys are kicking the shit out of each other. I mean, you know, I know that everything I do and say, I feel like makes me sound 100 years old. But I can remember a time when women did not physically fight each other. They just got mad at each other, and they talked shit about each other. They didn't.
I don't even
beat each other up.
I don't really enjoy the women's division of the UFC. It's not.
I do enjoy seeing women fight in a structured environment. I'm not talking about when they fight in public. I feel like. And maybe it's just because I mainly remember Jerry Springer fights. I feel like all they do is really they like grab each other's hair, and they're just both pulling each other's hair. And MMA fights, those are skilled fighters. I feel like the women really they beat the shit out of each other.
Sometimes they do beat the ever-loving shit out of each other. I don't know. It's just some part of it is just not that exciting for me. I like watching like Joanna or Rose Namajunas, but overall the division, I don't really get into it that much. I think because while they are skilled fighters, there's definitely a giant leap between the women and the men.
Well, I will say this. If you as a guy think that you have obstacles to becoming an MMA fighter, and I know plenty of people that are trying to become MMA fighters. I've met plenty of people along the way that are aspiring MMA fighters. Imagine what it's got to be like if you're a girl and you turn to your family or your friends or whatever, and they're like, what do you want to do? And you're like, I want to become an MMA fighter. I just think the level of support that they receive has got to be almost zero. And they've still gotten to that point somehow. And I'm just impressed by that.
That's fair.
I'm always impressed by people that have to overcome overwhelming odds to get to do something that, you know, I mean, again, if you're a female and you're wanting to become an MMA fighter, I just can't imagine that there's people around you going, yeah, it's a great idea. You should definitely pursue it. I feel like most people will be like, come on, what is wrong with you? I know that when I fought 2-3 professional fights. I told my ex-wife that I was going to start fighting, and she was like, are you out of your mind? And I was like, no, it's something athletic. I want to do it. I want to learn how to fight better. I've always been decent at it, but I'd like to learn things that I don't know. I got no support, and I'm a guy. So I can just imagine what a female has to go through. And I hope that I like seeing. I'm inspired by it. You know, I liked it. The first female fighter that I ever really got to watch was Layla Ali.
Oh, right. Muhammad Ali's
Muhammad Ali's daughter. And I was like, man, that's so cool. She's trying to follow in her father's footsteps. And at the time, there was very little female boxing. I mean, there was none.
I saw today they updated the fight card on Triller for Vitor Belfort versus Oscar De La Hoya. They have added 2 more fights to that. One of them is a professional boxer. I cannot remember his name, Fabian or something. And then below that, Anderson Silva is going to box Tito Ortiz. Look, man, Tito, just stop, man. You're old. We don't care.
Well,
we don't care.
Here's what I will say. You get to a point in your life where it's all just about being able to prove that you can still do something. I know that I worked as a food runner at my last job, and one of the guys I worked with is entering his senior year. He's the starting quarterback for his football team. And although my age will remain undisclosed, I was working with him, and he was talking about how good of a football player he was, and I was working with and we went out and played tackle football with a team that I put together versus a team of his guys that he played football with in school. And although we played several times and they won most of the games, we won the first game. And I quarterbacked that team to the victory, and it felt like one of the greatest fucking wins in my entire life. We won 7-5. And I had the time of my life. And when you're at a certain age, man, you just like being able to go out there and compete and play. And the competitive juices don't diminish. I watch this advertisement on Fox every single day of this guy. I think his name is Mason. He's 80 some odd years old. He's doing an ad for Back to Nature or some shit. It's like these dehydrated vegetable and fruit pills that he takes. And the dude's playing soft. He's like, I like playing ball. I've always loved playing ball. He's 80. And I'm thinking to myself, man, when I'm 80, I still want to be out there doing something competitively. I enjoy it. I like competing. And every time I play a game or a sport where I'm in a competitive environment, I always think to myself, that might be the last time I ever get to do that. And it makes me sad. And then fortunately for me, I played a Super Bowl day game when I was in Jersey. I played in a men's softball league until I left Jersey. I played the football games that I just played with the guys at my last job. The other day at my current job, the dishwasher was like, I got a ball out in my trunk, and I have a feeling that will evolve eventually as we bring the ball out and start throwing it around, that will somehow evolve into some type of competitive game of some kind. I mean, man, when I was in a fraternity, we would end the night throwing kegs as far as we could. Guys are just competitive. People are competitive. They like to compete. They like to do different shit. They like to earn bragging rights. There's nothing better than winning.
Calm down, Trump. Calm down.
I enjoy winning at something. I do. I like it.
Calm down.
Or even just competing and seeing how good you are at something. That's why I fought. That's why I played sports. I think that's one of the things that makes this country so great, is that we have so many different ways that we like to compete against each other. And then hopefully at the end of it, you have respect for the people that you played against.
Here's a couple interesting things happening in the world. Since
All right.
we like talking about what's going on in the world. First one I saw, I didn't pull it up over there yet. Let's see. This was kind of interesting. Since we have so many climate people, Sicily appears to smash European heat record as temperatures soared nearly 120 degrees Fahrenheit. Dude, that's freaking hot, man. 120 degrees in Sicily. Highest temperature recorded in the entire SIAS network since it was installed in 2002.
Well,
dude, that's hot.
Bro.
120
Yeah,
is
120.
hot.
120. It's nasty. I mean, that's the kind of temperatures you get in the desert.
That's damn near like edible food temperature. Look, you like 150. It's close. You could probably cook an egg on 120.
Oh, I'm sure you could. Yeah.
Freaking hot.
It's hot. You know, I think that the world is a mess. I think it's a mess. I'm gonna try to fix it. I'm gonna try to fix it, America. I'm gonna try my best. Look, let's be completely honest. There's nobody who's taking me seriously as a presidential candidate at the moment. No one. I'm not even sure my broadcasting partner is taking me
I'm gonna
completely.
sign him up regardless.
It's
He's
taking
going
me
to be on there.
It's taking me
Look at that
serious.
picture, bro. How terrifying is that?
What is that? What's that
That's
picture?
wildfires in Greece, Italy,
Jesus.
Greece, and other parts of the Mediterranean region. Dude, man, the world is burning on fire. And it's not like a little fire. Like, I am shocked every year that there is still places in California that can catch on fire. Like, I'm surprised there's anything left to burn. Because every year they're like, we burned 75 billion acres of land.
Right.
And trees do not grow back in 1 year.
Right.
So I'm always amazed by that. That's pretty wild.
Well, I don't think people realize how big America is. You know, like, just when you say that, I get what you're saying, but I mean, America's huge. It's big. There's a lot of area that can burn. I mean, obviously they have fires every year.
In California, mostly just California.
When the fires go out, all that's left behind is burnt nothing. I mean, for however big those fires are, I would love to see a map of California and see like how much of it has been burned to nothing.
You could probably find one. Let's see if we can find one on here. That's news. Let's go to images. Maybe we can find something that kind of depicts it.
Looks like that.
This one, maybe.
Yeah.
No, that's just a drought monitor. We need something that looks more like that. That's the threat of wildfires. Let's see if we can. Oh, that's on. That's a watch. We don't want to watch it. California drought conditions don't look good. To be honest with you, don't look good. That's what it looks like to me everywhere. It's fucking on fire.
Right.
Constantly.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is.
It's terrifying. And the thing is, I can think of very few
Look
ways
at that
of
map.
dying.
That's got to be all that red is high risk.
That would be worse than burning to death.
You see the like last year they had videos of Teslas going into those zones, pulling people out because the Tesla's equipped with a what do you consider as like a it's a ultra HEPA filtration on it. They call it like a not doomsday filter, but basically like a nuclear type mode in the car where it will filter out like 99% of fucking everything. You could drive that Tesla straight through that wildfire zone, all the smoke, and breathe fresh air.
What about the tires there? Don't the tires
yeah, I
burn
mean,
up?
you can't stay in there. I mean, you got to get in, get out. I mean, you're still melting half the car probably, but it was getting people out without them dying. The people were going in there and getting them. I mean, yeah, freaking tears your car up. So that's pretty wild. I thought that was interesting. And then we had over here, oh, did you see this story? There was a nurse apparently in Germany that was injecting thousands of people with saline instead of the vaccine. Holy shit. They were just loading them up with saline.
Placebo.
First of all, how would you know? They're saying 8,557 people have been asked to go back for repeat vaccinations and 3,600 new appointments have been confirmed. That's insane. How would you even know? You would have no idea.
Which is why, all right, and I don't want to get dinged for fucking misinformation, but this is another reason I don't trust anybody. My best friends in the course of my life have done more damage to my life than complete strangers. And that's only because I don't let complete strangers have any access to my life. So the people that I have gone through a process in which they have earned my trust have typically screwed me over very, very, very badly. So why on earth would I suspect, or would I not suspect, that a complete stranger is going to do something exactly like that? And then what's better, saline or the actual vaccine? Which is going to do more damage to your body? Who knows? That one guy's like, yeah, I got the vaccine. I didn't suffer any problems. Okay, well, good. I'm glad. I don't want people to suffer any problems. I'm not taking that risk for myself. And whatever the consequences are of my decision, I'm prepared to live with those consequences. I don't think there's any way that I haven't been exposed to COVID at this point. I worked maskless for a long period of time. I've basically, I took, I think, a total of 3 months off during that entire period where I didn't work and I lived at my sister's house. Outside of that, I've been working. I came back as soon as things opened back up. Georgia has been pretty much one of the leaders in terms of being open the whole time.
This is crazy. Look at this freaking story. Cargo ship splits in two after running aground in Japan. Dude, look at that photo. How terrifying would that be to be on that fucking ship?
Terrifying.
On a freaking cargo ship, and it splits in half.
I don't want to be in the ocean. You can't. I'm not.
Wow.
I don't fly, and I don't go in the ocean.
39,910 ton wood chip carrier went aground Wednesday.
No.
While sailing
Not
inside
me.
there. It managed to free itself from the seabed, but suffered a crack which widened and eventually caused the vessel to split into two entirely different pieces. Wow.
That's
The
insane.
amount of oil leaked under is under investigation, but it didn't, obviously it leaked oil. Wow. Dude, that's so crazy that you don't ever hear that shit. A freaking cargo ship splits in half. All right, so this is this one's interesting on this is all world news. We're just going around the world. Here we go. Social media and messaging apps appear to be shut down in Zambia on election day, Facebook says. On election day, they shut them down. No social media. They do not want it to interfere with the election. Total media blackout. How do you feel about that? How can you talk about free and fair elections when our opponents have taken this election as war, he said, accused an opposition of orchestrating brutal incidents and wanting to rule Zambia by force. This is just stuff like that happens around the world, and we're over here arguing and most of the time about dumb shit.
We're always arguing about stupid shit in America.
Yeah, and then you got stuff like that that's happening. I mean, look at Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Twitter appear to be shut down. That is crazy. That's a intense level of censorship across the country.
Well, hopefully we can make a difference. Look, man, I want to make a difference. I feel like we're preoccupied with bullshit that prevents us from improving this country. When people say, I do believe that America is the greatest country in the world. There's no question about it in my mind. But that doesn't mean we have no room for improvement. We have massive room for improvement. And when you look at other countries in the world, you see those people. I mean, if you're an American, would you want to be any of those people? I don't know anything about their lives, but I know that simply by being in America, my life is better than what those people are experiencing. And I feel horrible for them. And I would love to see their lives be improved as well. But we got so much that we got to fix.
Man, this is a sad story right here.
What's that?
Florida toddler fatally shot mother during Zoom call. What is happening? 21-year-old's coworker called 911. A toddler found a loaded handgun in the apartment, shot her mother in the freaking head.
Killed her?
The firearm belonged to the children's father, according to authorities.
Jesus
Investigation is ongoing. and whether or not the person will face any charges. But a toddler, what, a 2-year-old, man?
Yeah.
2-year-old finds a loaded weapon, points it at mommy's head, and executes mommy on a Zoom call. Jesus Christ. That's insane, bro.
Yeah.
That's
crazy.
Doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing? Why are toddlers getting access to a fucking loaded gun?
Right? Like, what is happening right now?
Yeah, I mean, how is that kid supposed to? What kind of life can that kid look forward to?
Oh man, dude.
Can you imagine what that child's life is going to be like? First of all, imagine what it's like right now. I'm going to assume that the mother was a beloved person who had a decent job, and that kid blew her away and is going to have to live with the guilt of that forever. And eventually he's going to find out, hey, why don't I have a mother?
Oh yeah, that's because like right now, Tyler don't know.
He doesn't know what happened.
Yeah, they're not
obviously,
going to grow up. They could completely grow up and not know anything about it.
and then people are going to have to tell him, well, you shot her, you killed her. That's crazy to have to deal with that. That guilt would be amazing. I live with a tremendous amount of guilt for some of the shit that I've done.
It's insane.
I can't imagine what it would be like to kill your mother.
Well, the only other thing in here that's coming up is the California recall of Newsom. Pelosi rallies behind Newsom
Oh my
in
God.
California recall effort. We will defeat it, she says. Pelosi says, we will defeat it.
I will say this.
Hey, I will say
I
this.
saw
Kevin Paffrath is currently the #1 contender against Gavin Newsom. So that man is making some waves.
I saw. Who's Kevin Paffrath?
We've talked about Kevin, man. Meet Kevin on YouTube. 29 years old, real estate investor, educator, millionaire.
Good luck.
Running against Gavin Newsom.
Sure. All right. Here's what I'll say. I'm running against Joe Biden. So whatever.
You're running against the conglomerate of everyone on
everyone.
politics.
I'm taking on the entire world, literally.
Joe Biden can't run
with
at
my
all.
one-man campaign staff.
If you can jog lightly, you're ahead of him.
He does run from place to place.
I know he falls from place to place. I've never seen him.
I've seen him jog.
You've seen him jog where?
Yeah, every time.
Marshall, the button on your remote that has the 2 arrows to the right, when you push that, that's not Joe Biden running. Is anyone talking while you're trying?
So I will say, I saw an interview today with fucking Caitlyn Jenner.
Uh-oh.
Holy fucking shit. That has got to be the dumbest fucking human being I have ever heard speak in my life. She is dumb as fuck. And they asked, and then, you know what? She's being interviewed by Fox. She's a Republican. They're obviously being as gentle with her as they possibly can. And they just kept asking her, you know, they were like, well, you know, they were lobbing her the easiest questions that they possibly could, and she couldn't answer any of them. But she just kept saying, "Oh, you know, Gavin Newsom is horrible. Look at the crime. Look at," and they were like, "Well, what would you do differently?" And she had no answer. And I'm thinking to myself, you're a celebrity contestant, you know, person who's a candidate for governor of the state. You're obviously running a campaign. There's people that have to be, at least, I'm assuming, supporting her, a campaign manager, somebody who's around.
Yeah.
You're not prepping her at all to go on a national television show that's going to be broadcast around the country, to be able to answer the simplest questions they gave her. She couldn't answer anything. Nothing. It was horrible. Absolutely horrible. It was painful to watch, hard to listen to. I can't imagine that the person asking the question, she was like, so, because she just kept saying the exact same, Gavin Newsom is horrible. He's doing a horrible job. Look at all the crime. There's so much crime. He's just doing horrible. And they're like, well, what would you do differently? Oh, Gavin Newsom, have you seen how much crime there is? We're going to get this recall. Oh man, you should see the interview and see how bad it was.
It's terrible. Right now, I pushed Kevin as soon as he came out because I follow Kevin on YouTube and I've watched a lot of his videos, and he talks a lot about the economy, what's going on, the impact of all of the stuff that's happening, and he's got a lot of good ideas. I will say that I did watch one of his campaign rallies, and I didn't like him in that forum. I thought he looked not like, well, obviously he's not a politician to start with, but he didn't look very political, powerful person to go up against a, seating incumbent politician. But all of his interviews and everything he does on YouTube looks phenomenal. But him in real life was not as aggressive as I thought it would take to beat him. But he number one candidate.
Here's the thing, man. And this is honest to God.
That's what I'm getting at, Marshall. Kevin Paffrath is the governor candidate equivalent of Marshall Holmes for president.
Well, all right, but here's what I want people to understand about what I'm trying to do. I'm going to be fucking good in that spot. People are, first of all, going to underestimate the shit out of me. I guarantee you right now, other than you, there's not even anybody who even knows I'm running. But over the course of time, not only am I going to be running, I'm going to continue to refine my positions. I'm going to listen to what the voters have to say. I'm going to understand the issues better than anybody. I'm doing research. I'm spending this next year to 2 years of my life doing nothing but listening to the youth of America as they say what is important to them and what matters. And I'm going to be thinking about the solutions. And those Omegle, those are not easy. We're meeting people who are already. The reason I want that, I want them to be anti-me.
Right.
I want them to immediately be like, who the fuck is this guy? Why is he talking to me? I don't want to talk to him. And I want to try to take that person, whether I agree with them, whether I disagree with them, I want to listen to what they have to say. And that's what I want to do, not only as a candidate, or not only as a person that's doing broadcasting, but as a candidate. I want to be able to listen to what people are saying, and I want to be able to apply what they think. Because look, this is a democracy. It's not these people that get into office and then they suddenly believe, you watch it happen. They suddenly believe after they get in office, well, they elected me, but they elected me to do what I want. And no, what people elect you to do is to do what's going to be what they're asking for, what they need.
Right.
And we don't do that. We don't do it all. Look, Biden, man. Let's look at what he's actually accomplished with a Congress and a Senate that is completely, he's got Democrats in charge of both. Trump had that when he was the president for the first 2 years of his term. He had a Republican Congress and a Republican Senate, and the only thing that he got done, despite all the promises that he made, was a tax break for rich people.
Yeah.
That's it. That was the only major legislative accomplishment that he had, that he got done. And so far, the only thing Biden's gotten done, and by the way, infrastructure hasn't passed.
Right.
It passed the Senate. It still has to pass Congress. And Pelosi's already said that she's not even going to bring it to the floor until the Senate passes the $3.5 trillion budget proposal.
Right.
So if that doesn't get past the Senate, she's not even bringing the infrastructure bill to the floor of the Congress. So again, we're talking about nothing getting done. And if I am able to rise up out of this situation, being a homeless veteran for 8 years in this country, and figuring out a way to take a podcast that we invented out of our heads and turn that into a serious run for President of the United States, they're going to have no choice but to listen to what the fuck I'm trying to do, because it's going to be a direct reflection of what the people want. And that's what I'm hoping to do. That's the shakeup that needs to take place. And unlike what's Pathrath or what's his name?
Kevin Pathrath.
Pathrath.
It's a hard name to say. He wanted to get his name on the ballot to be Meet Kevin Pathrath, because everyone knows him as Meet Kevin. He owns the brand Meet Kevin. It's on his car. Everything is Meet Kevin. He sued California to have his name on the ballot as Meet Kevin Pathrath, and he lost. They said you cannot put that on there, even though they had prior what you call it, when something's already happened and someone else has already done it, having a brain fart. But somebody else had ran
precedent.
Yeah, precedent. Someone else
precedent.
Yes, precedent. That's what I said. Not president. Precedent.
Sounded like you said president.
I know, that's just because it's late.
Precedent.
But there was a professional wrestler, a Samoan, who ran for office and had his name in quotations, his wrestler name, and then his last name, and they sued with the precedent of that and lost. They said, nope, you cannot put that on the ballot. And he was afraid that people will not know who. All of his entire campaign has been Meet Kevin for governor. And now, a month away, they're like, you cannot use that.
Well, according to what I've seen, Larry Elder is the only legitimate contender for beating out Newsom. And they think that that's not actually going to happen. Which, man, California's a fucking mess. I think it would be harder to become governor of California than to be the president.
Right.
I really do. California is a mess. It is a mess. Their tax code is a mess. They've lost a congressional seat because so many people have left the state. So did New York. New York and California both lost a congressional seat. I think Texas picked one up. But the population has shifted away from California.
Right.
People don't want to live there. I wouldn't want to live there. You couldn't pay me to fucking live in California. San Francisco? Are you fucking kidding me? It's a shithole. Absolute shithole. There's literally piles of shit all over the fucking street. People are just shitting everywhere. I'm not even making that up. This is the fucking truth.
I find there's a documentary, you can find it on Netflix, it's called Rats. Dude, you want to be terrified? Go watch that shit. About the number of rats that are in New York, and Louisiana has a lot too. New York has the most. I think it's like 3-1 rats to people.
New York. They were all over the place.
They're everywhere. They're like
they're not afraid of anything.
No, they are vicious rats, and they do not give a shit, and they're not going away, and there's nothing they can do about it. They're in everything everywhere, and they have all these videos going out into like the sewers, and at night they come out because there's trash everywhere in New York. The trash just goes out on the street.
I walked the streets of New York for 3 years. I saw the rats everywhere.
Yeah, there's no getting rid of them things, man.
There is no getting rid of. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you obviously have to make as much effort as possible, but I felt like while I was there, I don't know how long de Blasio has been the fucking mayor. Way too long. He's the worst mayor in America. He was horrible. He turned that place. When I got there, it was in good shape. When I left there under de Blasio's leadership, he had turned the place into a complete shithole. Complete shithole. Rats everywhere. Everywhere. And crime. And there was no crime. When I got there, it wasn't no crime. But it was a very safe place to go. I feel like I could not live the way I lived when I lived there now, because it's just not. I would be murdered. I used to sleep on benches. I used to sleep in Port Authority. I could show you. I don't know if this was a conversation I had with you or not, but I could take you to Port Authority and show you where I used to fucking sleep in Port Authority. Because I slept there a lot.
I would, what was the last thing?
It was cold as fuck in New York.
I saw something else pop up, and I was like, oh.
We'll do one more. I gotta go, man.
I know. I'm
fucking
burned.
exhausted.
I'm burned out too. I don't remember what it was.
I mean, I'm
so it's
barely-
all good.
Barely
It was
holding my
something-
side. Do we have?
This is what I was gonna.
Do we have any viewers at this point?
No, but this channel doesn't have that many viewers to begin with. I gotta put it on the other one. 'Cause
0.
I don't put anything on this one. Yeah, I don't stream on this one. I only have like 1,000 subscribers. I haven't been streaming on this one that much, but we'll get the views on that when we upload it. But I was gonna add to the end of that, which was Kevin Paffrath challenged Newsom to a one-on-one debate, 2-hour long debate, one-on-one, and he would pay $1 million out of his own pocket to the charity of their choice just to sit down and debate him for 2 hours. I mean, I hope it happens because look, and what kind of assholes like, fuck charities, man. I don't need to go sit down with you for 2
Well,
hours.
I will say
They'll
this:
bait him in there.
he doesn't necessarily have to agree to anything. I mean, if when you're the, it's just like when you're a boxer and you want to fight the champ. I mean, the champ doesn't have to take you on just because you want to take him on. You don't get that. You don't get.
Well, he's not known for being a nice guy, the people pleaser.
Who's that?
Gavin Newsom.
I don't know much about him. I really don't. He seems like he's doing a shitty job. And
Well, he's been governor for a long time.
I'm not sure that anybody else is going to do a better job. He definitely hasn't done a good job. I mean, I don't think any of these guys do. They're a bunch of hypocrites.
Yep.
So, anyway, brother, I'm ready to roll.
All right, let's kick it out of here.
Some people
Roll
live
out.
free. Some people die free. Oh, wait. Some people are born free. Some people die free. Some people just live free as fuck. God bless you all. Thank you for listening, for the 0 people that are out there listening. And we'll be back with something strong and solid next time. I promise you.
Every single time, like the show, subscribe to the channel, leave us comments. It's easy. You just hit the little button. You just type it in there. And tell your friends and tell your family and tell your coworkers and tell everybody to check us out and let us know what you would like us to talk about on the next episode of Free as Fuck. So until then, we are out of here.